What is
What's
up?
going
My
on,
name's
everybody?
Anthony.
You were like, oh, dude, we're gonna leave you unmuted, and then I just sat there and waited.
Oh, it mutes you whenever I put on the video. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good. We are back, Cali Death Podcast once again. What's going on, y'all? God damn it! With that fucking intro, I'm like, all like, where am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? All right. Hi guys, I'm Anthony, and we are here again on another Thursday night, episode 125. I'm always here with my resident homies. Dude, I'm just out of breath right now from all the running around we did right before this fucking episode. I'm like, I forgot two things, so I had to keep running. All right, sorry. Anyways, Casey, Joseph, Joel, you're with me as always. What up, y'all?
Hello.
Hello.
And tonight we are joined by I'm actually really excited about this episode, guys, because Casey is like one of my all-time favorite drummers. To be able to talk to one of his teachers, I'm like, oh, dude, this is great, dude. And with your history, Bill, dude, I really cannot wait to get into your story. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Most definitely, dude. And at the top of the episode, we always do plugs, and so let's get into you first. You tell people where they can go to find anything that you want them to find.
Well, right now my website's kind of being sort of rebuilt. I switched platforms, and so it's at billraydrums.com, and you can catch me on all the socials over there. I've got a YouTube channel, and I've been getting into Twitch a lot lately. So yeah, twitch.tv billraydrums. That's the one. And yeah, please subscribe to me over there, because I've been playing fairly often on that one, as well as my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/billraydrums. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Right on, dude. Well, thank you for all that. I'm hearing some clicking in his vocals, guys. I don't know if we can fix that right now, but while we're trying to look into that, let's do some plugs for the show as well. We got tons of plugs, guys. You heard me last week. We got a big plug session. We're gonna start with Battleforge Coffee, as always. The homies in Deeds of Flesh. They got their coffee business that they've had going for a while now and still cruising. They got great coffee. They got swag. It's Cali Death. Come on now, go support them. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com. That's where you can get rehearsal space in the Southern California area. I keep forgetting the exact area. Where is it? Oceanside. So you're within length to Oceanside that you would want to drive to go rehearse to. That's where you want to do it. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com. Cali Death Podcast.bigcartel.com is where you can support the show. Get yourself a t-shirt. Get your friend a t-shirt. You guys can be matching friends with either a full color logo or the OG logo, whatever you choose. Shipping worldwide, coming from the professor himself.
Yeah.
Side note, CaliDeath.com. That is starting to get active again.
Yeah, subscribe to the blog.
No doubt.
We have some sponsorships coming up.
Mentioning the professor, he's the one behind that whole deal. So any blog you read, that's coming from that man's mind.
Very educated human being on the subject of extreme metal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will back that statement 100%.
He's the only one who's allowed to write.
I know. He's the only one we trust writing. That or like ChatGPT.
I've done one write-up. Actually, that'd be fun. Try and read all of our write-ups on Instagram and try and figure out which one I did. There you go.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't even know what this guy's all about, but
I don't even know, guys. Just fucking
all right. Impersonating himself.
All right. And then
got banners.
Archaic is going out. Are they out? They're not out yet, though, right? They're starting.
No, in about a month from today, almost.
Okay, yeah, giving them plugs on the head start. That's all good. A month from now, they're starting it in the hometown area of Santa Cruz, California. It's a good place to start it. The Blue Lagoon, great fucking venue. But yeah, these are the homies. We were just at their wedding a couple weeks ago, or Jared's wedding, and I toured with them. We're always going to support Archaic. Been on the show several times. Love those dudes. Please, it is always a great show when you go out and see Archaic. If you haven't seen them yet, you enjoy their music, see it in person, because it will be much better when you listen to that album after. Now, Chicago Domination Fest 8. We are a sponsor of this festival, and we are very proud to be a sponsor of this festival. We back the lineup. We back the dude who's running it, Miguel. Everything looks like you guys are going to have a fucking blast at this festival. I really think that this is going to be one of the talked about festivals this year. So if you want to get out to it, go do it. But if you little strapped on cash and maybe want to win a ticket, you can come to what I don't know all the details on this. We have it. We have all the details now. We're just gonna do. We thought it'd be fun. And shout out to Ian at Sick Drummer. I liked your idea, dude. I thought about it for a little bit. I don't think we would have gotten enough entries to really make this thing kind of worthwhile if people had to do a intro impersonation of me. That would have been hilarious.
I know, it's so specific to the area, like geographically. It's all Chicago, you know. So
I know,
it's like
dude,
whoever can make it to Chicago.
You got to be serious about this thing, guys. If you're really going to be able to make it out, enter. If you're not going to be able to like get yourself there, don't waste the time just because it's like we want to be able to give these tickets to people who are actually going to get there, you know. So but they are going to be available. We have 2-3-day passes, and we have submission forms that we're just going to, where are we going to be able to, on the website?
Yeah, the link tree, like what Jedi's saying, what Murray's saying, but also website, and we'll figure out other places. We'll post about it, so you guys will see. You can click
yeah. There'll be a formal post about this on social media very soon.
It was like 40 minutes ago we were working on this, so it's
I know, we fucking dude, life sucks when it gets in the way of your fucking podcasts, right? But yeah, no, we're super stoked to be a part of this, and we're figuring out a real good way that we're going to be able to keep track of everybody easily, and this is the way that we're going to do it. It's just going to be a submission form. It's going to be like the name out of the hat type deal. And however we can do that virtually, digitally, I don't know. If we have to literally have me pull it out of a hat on the show, we'll do that too. But this is the way to do it, guys. So Linktree / Cali Death Podcast. You'll find that
/ G bar. Oh, whatever. It's all good.
I have too many we have way too many like links to.
I know we should almost like. There's so many like we're like stacking so many like you know plugs in the beginning. We should just like pass them off. Like you have to do all.
You know, I should almost like now. It feels like I should I should do a pre-recording of these, right, and just paste it on the front because
we could
we're already almost 10 minutes in, and we haven't even. Bill said 4 words to it.
Are you hanging in over there, Bill?
I'm here.
we are closing. We are going to be closing the link section very, very soon. But yeah, so the formal post will be following this show tomorrow. Maybe we'll post an official thing, and yes, it'll be a submission form type deal. You got to put in. Oh yeah. By the way, guys, I don't know how we're going to keep track of this, but if you're not subscribed to everything on us and you enter, that's kind of fucked up, right? So subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to our Twitch, like our socials, all that stuff, because you know We're the ones who you might possibly getting the tickets from. So at least support the homies over here, right?
Yeah, we got 100 cents from this probably. We'll probably make 100 cents each on this.
We got 0 cents from this, but this is just fun, and that's what I'm saying. So our currency is going to be your support. That's it.
Cool. Exposure bucks, man.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's exposure bucks.
All right. Did we do everything? Wait, no, Joseph, with your tours, you got tours and shit you want to plug?
Okay. Joseph's like, shit, I don't want to talk about
that. Someone deleted the flyer banner, so I'm just skipping that this
I
week.
might have done that on accident. Sorry.
It's all good. Let's just go forward. I don't want to hear a goddamn plug.
Last Lucy is going to be going out soon.
When
Bill
Bill
has Last Lucy's socials, and you'll find all the details there. Right?
Cool.
Thank you.
Cali ad podcast coming at you again.
First hour is just ads.
All right. Are we done? We're done.
We're done.
We love you guys. Bill, we're here for you
Hi.
tonight, though. Thank you so much again for being with us. I already have mad respect for you, just not only being Casey's teacher, but what I've learned in, the last week of what you've been involved in. And I'm sure you're going to be telling me a lot more that I didn't read, and I can't wait to hear about it. But how we usually do it on the show, Bill, is you got to take us back to your childhood. You got to take us back as far as you can to the point where you, in your current state, feel was the part that was the time in your life where you had a connection with music. If it was something background noise you were hearing, your parents were listening to, and it caught your ear, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so we're going back that far. Is there
Yes,
enough
we
alcohol
are.
in my house for that?
I don't know. You might have to take us for a tour and show us your collection.
No, actually, well, the funny thing, I started out pretty much as soon as I came out of the womb. I think I was playing drums, and my dad was a drummer. My mom and dad used to sit around and listen to jazz records all day, and
Oh shit.
So Art Blakey, Elvin Jones, all that stuff. My dad was a huge Elvin Jones fan. He was just loved his stuff. And so I, when my mom was pregnant with me, obviously sitting around listening to jazz records all day and whatever else they probably, did back in those days as one was listening to jazz records, greatly influenced my my path, I'm sure, and later in life. But I'll just we won't go that far back. So I started playing drums at about a year old, and when I was 4 years old, I saw a guy named George Lawrence play a drum solo at my parents' photography studio, and that was pretty much it for me, man. It was like that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm here for, is to play drums. And somehow I've managed to fall through life playing these things, And at some point it dawned on me that I really don't play drums. I play sticks.
There you go.
That's what our real instrument is these right here. And putting it all together, and making sounds. So
totally. I agree. Yeah. So with the jazz from being in the womb, and was your dad a jazz drummer as well?
He was a jazz drummer, but he got stuck playing country gigs, and he wasn't real happy about that. But jazz was his passion. And so, but he was a working musician, and then he became a photographer. And so I grew up in a really pretty crazy artsy sort of environment.
Right. Lots of creativity floating around.
Yeah, lots of crazy floating around.
It starts with the CR. Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Creative and crazy is not much different, guys.
There's a very fine line right there.
Yes.
Not much difference at all. But so, it was really cool growing up in an environment, because it afforded me the ability to think about music in a different sort of terms. And I equated music with visual arts very early on, and so I think that was like the early form of synesthesia, I guess, that
Yeah,
I would have,
yeah.
picked up on. And so basically,
Odious Mortem that came out in album that came out in 2020. You can go buy it right now everywhere.
yeah. Oh, is there an album called Synesthesia?
Odious
Yeah,
Mortem's
yeah.
newest album is called Synesthesia. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, well,
Hopefully
geez.
yeah. Casey should send you a link.
Yeah, you know what? I'd love to hear that because the metal, the really extreme metal stuff is not something that I have been listening to a lot of lately, just because usually the things that I've been listening to are things that I have to learn for either gigs or I'm recording things for people, and so it's just it doesn't come up on my radar too much. But I'm trying.
Totally. No, you're just making me want to ask you a question right now, even though this makes us totally jump out of the timeline right now, but I have to ask it.
No, definitely.
We've come across a few different musicians, Gabe Sieber being one of the examples. How much do you listen to music for pleasure other than listening because you have to get ready for a gig or you have to get ready for a recording?
I think now I listen to music for pleasure a lot more. And what I do is I have, like, on my Amazon music account, that's my preferred outlet. That's where I go. It's got my discovery mix. And so I've been able to find all these amazing new bands that like there's a band out of Montreal called Bird Problems.
It sounds like a band we need to. I just snorted. We totally need to listen.
Yeah. Bird Problems are
Hate B.
I already love that band name, by the way.
What style of music is Bird Problem?
And these guys, I mean, they're so shiny and new. I mean, they're so young. They're like 18, 19 years old, and it's like, holy shit, you guys are playing that kind of stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a Ricky Avocado endorsement, dude.
It says the song Qualia.
Qualia. Yeah. Jerk Chicken is a song that and that inspired this shirt right here, by the way. It's for those who aren't familiar with the sticking, and it's a herda. So this shirt actually says, "These herda my feet."
I love it. Dude.
Playing herdas on your feet, which is let's see if I can do it. Oh shit. What have I gotten myself into here?
Oh, you're gonna be doing this all night, dude.
Nope, not even doing it. Not touching it.
I tried, and nope, not right now.
No, the blood sugar's way too low at this point.
That's all good, dude. I love that there's names for certain like a paradiddle. What's a paradiddle? I've heard you guys say paradiddle so many times, and I love that word. I have no idea what it is.
Here's what it is. A para single strokes. Para, and then a diddle, which is a double or diddle. See, it's harder to say paradiddle, 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 and that morphed into paradiddle. Paradiddle.
Okay.
Yeah, paradiddles are the Swiss Army knife of the drums.
Dude, I literally never put that together, and it's something that I've heard so much. I've heard so many paradiddles in my life. Never could, like, up until recently, call them something. So I love that.
Yeah, that's the nomenclature behind that.
I want to. Okay, but yeah, we're in the weeds so much now already. We haven't even gotten into you. Later on down the road, let's get into some crazy, like, what'd you say, nomenclature? Let's get into all the, like, what things are called. But all right, let's go back to your childhood, Bill.
Yeah.
So
okay.
your dad, being the jazz musician. Another question that I had for you was, do you remember your dad taking you into the drum room or whatever, and you could tell that he was excited to show you something?
The therapy bill was $17,000.
Nice.
No, well, he really wasn't a demonstrative player. He showed me a couple of things when I was really young, and then he stopped playing.
Really?
And yeah, and then I pretty much launched off into my own world, which was following the band known as Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like in the 70s when Kiss was like all the rage. I first learned of Kiss when I was probably about I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old. And yeah, hanging out with the neighborhood kids. And I remember this one kid comes up to me. He goes, "Did you guys go to the Kiss concert last night?" And I was thinking, a Kiss concert? You know how little kids are. You're like, what? They're like people kissing everywhere. Ew.
On stage, dude. We show up to watch people kiss on stage, dude.
No, you just go down to freaking Pacers and watch that, right? Or what's the Little Darlings or what?
Little Darlings, dude. That's the name of the first strip club I ever went to. So you probably are right.
I am kind of lived. I kind of did like come of age in San Diego, so there's that.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Okay, I just kind of got completely sidetracked there.
No, it's all good.
We should just call the podcast Sidetracked.
Yeah,
we do that all the time.
We do it all the time, Bill. We go off. We call it the weeds. You're gonna end up in the weeds a lot tonight.
Oh, I've got the.
And you got your fuel to get yourself deeper or out of the weeds.
The weeds.
Your decision.
Be on the weeds and the weeds.
Oh no, but anyway, so kind of getting through that whole thing, getting out of the weeds and through the childhood. I played a lot of heavy metal when I was growing up. Iron Maiden, Metallica. I was the kid who like would skip lunch and go over to the record store and peruse the import section.
I love
and
it.
I found this band called Metallica, and it had an album that was Metal Massacre. I think it was Metal Blade Records had metal. It was either that or what was the other huge Johnny Zazula, or it was the other Mike Varney's label. Metal. It was either Metal Blade or God, I can't think.
It wasn't Metal Blade. Was it Earache or?
Wasn't Earache. No.
Nuclear Blast, Century Media.
No,
this goes back way
in the day.
Yeah, way back.
Shrapnel. I don't know.
Shrapnel. Thank you.
Oh, I just nailed it.
Varney's label was Shrapnel. One of them had Metal Massacre. So basically, I heard "Hit the Lights" by Metallica, and that was like, oh man, these guys are awesome. And then I found Kill 'Em All. It was in the import section, and so back in those days, you took records to school, and I was walking around like with like 30 albums, carrying them around. I was like this, little kid walking with stacks of albums, and so we would all trade all stuff. And anyway, I turned my school onto Metallica, and
that's rad.
And then
in San Diego.
No, in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, because San Diego was far too sophisticated.
So Jackson was where you were born?
Yeah, Jackson was where I was born. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I left there when I was 20.
Oh, all right.
But I had a kind of a interesting upbringing as far as like I grew up on a lot of Southern gospel music. And blues, lots of blues. And,
okay. We've said it many times, and this might send us into another weeds thing, but I'm just going to say with drums and gospel chops, it always blows my mind, dude. Like watching those, there's a certain term where they're like going back and forth. I forget what they call it.
Yeah. Trading fours.
Trading. Yeah. And dude, I love watching those videos. So I totally, it makes more sense. That
where do you guys think the gospel chops came from? Like, I know obviously it's a very kind of elevated, like extreme vibe that a gospel brings to, or like kind of like the the passion involved. So they just threw it at drums and started battling each other. I don't know. Like,
I think it's like the braggadocious stuff. Yeah.
Athleticism and the Pentecost.
Okay.
Pentecostals. Yeah. There's a certain thing about like the Pentecostal religion. I mean, these people, you want to see like, snake handlers and stuff like that. They're all
Speaking in tongues.
speaking in tongues. Yeah, exactly.
Dang,
And
yeah,
fighting
I never really thought about this, but this totally makes sense, dude. Is it like, like taking on the Holy Spirit? Like you feeling the Spirit
Exactly.
come through
Oh,
you?
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
just letting go. So I'm a fan.
Oh.
I'm a fan of a guy named Colonel Bruce Hampton. He had a band called the Aquarium Rescue Unit.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that band probably like it was such a huge influence on me back in the 1990s. That's when I was really cutting my teeth and trying to find like my identity as a player. That's when I was teaching you, Casey.
Oh,
In
wow.
the 90s. Yeah.
In the 90s, yeah. So I was like really cutting my teeth on ARU. And
How
so
old were you when you were teaching Casey?
in my 20s.
No
Oh, wow.
shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Cool.
Yeah, I was probably 24. Casey was like 17, something like that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
love that.
go to his house and hang out there for an hour and it was really cool. Or you started coming to my house, but then I started going to your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You used to come over to my studio and
Yeah, that was cool. We used to, you had the 2 kits set up. We
Yep.
jammed. It was like the natural finish kits.
Yep.
They're nice. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, man, that was way back in the day and shit. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, where were we going with this?
Gospel chops. We were just in that realm.
Yeah, gospel chops. Yeah. So, the whole Colonel Bruce Hampton. Yeah, so he has this thing. It's the 4 T's. So it's time, tone, touch, and threat. And you're like, okay, so the 4. Okay, so I got time. Having good time as a musician, having good touch as a musician. You know what that is. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know. And then there's tone. Gotta love tone. So threat. What's threat?
Yeah, right.
Threat of vomit. So you're like, what the hell? Threat of vomit. It's like that feeling, when you're about to like lose it, and it's not you can't reason yourself out of this anymore. It's gonna happen. You're gonna find a bush and you're gonna throw up.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
It's that's the way you should play an instrument right there.
Whoa.
Is right there on that cusp of like the total release,
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is right there. So
I enjoy that. I enjoy thinking like that, dude. Like going to just taking everything to the very edge before yeah. I love that, dude.
Exactly. So threat.
It's like
the
fight
4
or flight.
T's,
Gotta have the threat.
Because before you started saying that, I was like, threat to who you're like. I'm being a threat to who I'm battling because I'm better or whatever. But no, it's just bringing yourself to that threshold and getting as close to it as you possibly can.
Exactly. And then just letting everything just fly and seeing what falls out. And then, it's a musical statement. So once it's played, then let it go. Right. I mean, that note's already in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that you're playing, you just, you expel it and let it go. And that's the experience.
That's rad, dude. All right, let's get back on to your timeline. Again.
Yeah. So throughout the 90s, I played in, various and sundry bands throughout Southern California.
Were you a hire or were you involved in creating these bands?
I was pretty much a hired gun.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a hired gun. I've always been one of those, they did a whole Netflix thing on it, the sidemen, I've always been kind of a side person, but I've always managed to have a creative thing happening alongside whatever it is that I'm doing. If I was, playing in blues bands or playing in disco bands or something like that, you always got to have some sort of,
flair.
some sort of a creative endeavor of your own, because
Right.
that's, that's where it's going to, that's where you need to sink your muse,
Right.
I always wanted to be a working musician. I always wanted to make money playing drums, and I did that. Did I make a lot of money? I made hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's smart. I mean, going into it with a realistic realization of like, a lot of people are like, no, my band's gonna make all the money. It's like, well, that's probably a 0.00001 chance that happens.
Yeah.
It's like, how about like, I like to play music. I want to just jam with people that want to play, and I would like to receive some sort of an income from that. Not like go negative 10,000 in every credit card you've ever owned.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's like I want to make a living and play music.
You want to find you want to get to a point where the way you want to be creative doesn't affect your personal life. If you're spending too much money being creative and artsy or whatever, you're going to affect the rest of your life if you don't have that money, right? So it's like, I just want to make art to where it doesn't affect the rest of my life, and it's just being, passionate about it and still finding ways to put it out there without spending all your money.
Well, some people, there's a saying: some people are so poor all they have is money. And
Yeah, that's true.
So there's more forms
Yeah.
of currency. And currency, talent is currency. I mean, straight up. Like somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, I got this song that I need a drum track for," and I'm like, "Sure, I'll do it." And they say, "Well, what do you charge?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a sliding scale. What can you afford?" It's like,
Well, $9. It's like, oh.
yeah, well, okay, so $9. That's cool. Okay, because and my whole paradigm was shifted years ago, because I was talking to somebody at the NAMM show, and she was giving her CDs away, and I was like, "Why are you giving your CDs away?" And she's like, "Because it's going to come back on me." And she says, "What if I charge the person $10 in Africa who really likes my music, and $10 to them is like $100?"
Yeah.
So it's like, why not just work on a sliding scale and they can pay what they can? And I was like, well, damn, that just completely made my day right there. And so I started doing that. And when you're an artist, you kind of have to make art. You make art, and you make a lot of it, and some of it sticks and some of it doesn't.
Yep. Exactly.
And so it's like, look at what Frank Zappa did. Look at all the body of work that he did for all the thousands of pieces that he wrote. Which ones of them do we really remember?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he was like musically as much of a genius as anybody could ever, be construed as being, I mean, for all the things that he created.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Didn't you jam recently with someone that played with Zappa or something? Or
Yeah, I've been actually. Thanks for asking about that. I've been doing a project with a guy named Marcelo Radulovic, and he's right across the freeway from where you grew up, KC. He's over off of Birmingham Drive.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and we have a project. I don't even know what the name of it's called, but back in the early 2000 aughts, we had a band called the Playground Slap, and we played at
I love all these band names, dude.
I know.
San Diego Fair, the Del Mar Fair as it was back then. So basically, he's got some funny ones too. We also have a project called the League of Assholes. And
Nice.
and that's like the threat music, that's the music that's like right on the edge of like purging, and it's basically a noise band, but it's a curated collection of sounds. I guess it's really no way to describe the League of Assholes. You can find them on Bandcamp.
Yeah, I'm already going. I'm going.
Yeah. So
When
the
you tell me you can't describe it, I'm immediately there.
so the most recent release is a really futile and stupid gesture. That's and it's got a very very controversial looking cover. But there's another one called Unplugged that's pretty amazing too.
That's rad, dude. All right, so I want to check all that out, but all right, Bill, I want to get back onto you again. I know we've been doing these side things, but I want to know about you for sure. So, like,
Yeah.
you're talking about dad being a drummer, he stops,
Yep.
and then after dad stops, what was it that like drove you? When did you get your first kit, by the way? You didn't go across that yet?
I got my first kit. My father was a drummer, and so I inherited his, and it was
Okay, you got some hand-me-down kits.
it was a February 8th, 1961 set of Ludwigs. That's what the date stamp on the inside said.
Oh yeah.
I gave those to my kid.
Wow, dude, I love that. I think that passing that stuff down, if you're gonna pass, art and music down, giving an instrument that you were working on at that age to that your kin, or not your kin, your progeny, and you're like, hey, dude, this is what I learned. I think it gives it more of an energy too. I think,
Oh, it's total energy. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. You know, it's
Instead of just taking them to the local music store and buying them the $100 kit
oh god.
versus, hey, here's all the history in these drums right here, and it's embedded in it,
Yeah, so I gave those to him, and he's got those. But I pretty much bought my first drum kit after those, and it was a set of Ludwigs. It was a 16 by 24 kick drum, a 14 by 15, and a 15 by 16 rack tom, and an 18 by 18 floor. I mean, these things were like Dave Grohl, look out, buddy. These it was all floor toms,
Huge.
and that's what I had to develop on, and they were huge and they were big sounding and they were thuddy and that's how I developed, like my technique because I had to beat the crap out of these monstrous sounding drums.
Right.
They were huge. I've never played a kit that big since, actually.
Is that a thing? If they're the bigger the drum, the harder you got to hit it.
Yeah, oh yeah, because you got to
Okay.
really move that air.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a 12-inch tom, this is a 12 right here, I can hit that, and this is a 16.
Oh yeah, the frequency.
That would have been my second tom right there. So the first tom was a 15 and a 16 and then an 18.
Yeah.
So they were monsters.
That's so big, yeah.
And from there I pretty much I found what sounds I was looking for in smaller drums, and then began playing in bands around the South. And then when I was 20, I moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, what made you make that decision?
oh, my mom moved to California
Okay.
from Mississippi, so I kind of followed her out to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, also too, I've been listening in the background a little bit to Bird Problems. That's a fucking crazy band.
Yeah, aren't they good?
God, it's like it's metal. It's metal. I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like some sort of progressive
Dude,
kind of style of band. I was like, holy shit.
Bill has been showing me crazy bands for like over 20 years. Like, dude, 30 years. Oh my god.
30 years, yeah.
It's like, dude, man, I remember you would be like, go check out Tribal Tech and in
yeah.
King Crimson stuff. You were always telling me about that stuff and all kinds of stuff, dude. Like God, I can't even the Dixie Dregs and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I heard about Dixie Dregs from Casey.
That's that's Dave LaRue, right? Dave LaRue on bass.
Yeah, Dave LaRue on bass. Yeah, Rod Morgenstein on drums.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. That's that. You got your pulse on the on the old cool stuff coming out. I mean,
the old
Oh,
cool
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, Bird Problems. I'm looking at their picture and they're children.
They are. They're very young. That's what I was saying. They're really young and shiny.
Yeah, exactly. They look really cold in the picture.
They haven't gone through rehab or,
Oh my
or
God.
divorce
I
yet.
know.
I used to.
I
Have
know. The
So
rehab's
let's
gonna be
talk-
like,
let's-
from, yeah. Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead. Keep going.
no, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just gonna say, let's talk about how things progressed with you, because we jumped to 20 real quick, but I just want to know, like, during high school, what was your jam? Like, what was the things you were listening to all the time? And did you have friends that were like-minded, or were you solo out in your own
yeah.
little thing?
Well, I had a band growing up, and the band was called Trouble, and it was kind of like around the hair band era, Motley Crue and all that. So we played some of that stuff, but we also played a lot of Maiden and Sabbath, and Maiden and Sabbath, and there was a band out of Canada called Exciter that I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beeler brothers, Dan Beeler, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but that group really kind of blew my mind. But then I discovered Jethro Tull, and that took me
Yep.
down the progressive path, and I started
Mhm.
digging that because everybody was into Rush, and it was like, yeah, Rush is great, but then I discovered Tull. But Iron Maiden was in there as well as Black Sabbath, and so I
yeah.
listened to a lot of that, and then pretty much anything that came off of the Metal Blade records or Roadrunner records, that whole catalog, that was big in my my existence. And
In the 90s, you're saying? So you
that was
came
in the
across
80s.
in the 80s.
That was
Oh,
in the
okay.
80s. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
early 80s.
Roadrunner was around in the 80s, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Well, okay, so then it was just what the heavy metal was of the time that you were.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie Heavy Metal? Do you remember hearing
Yeah.
about that? Yeah, that was kind of like a big depiction of what they made heavy metal out to be. But then, there was also bands like, my later boss in life, Paul Gilbert's Racer X that
Oh
came
yeah.
around, and then
Mr.
Ingwe
Big and-
Mountain. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Big, I missed Mr. Big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the 90s, and I wasn't listening to much
Gotcha.
metal stuff by then. I had kind of graduated over to more prog and jazz fusion stuff at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's when I lived in California. I had made the move from Mississippi to California in 1989.
Okay.
89.
Gotcha.
And okay, so when you got to San Diego, how long was it until you found some friends were on the same page as you?
It took me about 2 weeks before I was already working.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got to San Diego, I went and auditioned with a band, and it was a 50s band. We were playing 50s and 60s music, and I just got out and I started working. But then I was rehearsing myself at this place called Soundtracks over behind the San Diego Sports Arena. And there was this guy named Dean who used to come in, and we used to jam, and he'd listen to me play, and I'd listen to him play, and we started jamming together. And he brought in this sax player named Irwin. And I can't remember Irwin's last name, but he brought the sax player in, and we started talking, and he says, "Hey man, I think you'd really do good in my brother's band. We got a band up in LA, and why don't you come up and play with us?" And I was like, "Sure, no problem." So the day that I was supposed to go up and play with Dean and his brother in LA, my van got stolen the night before, and I had this horrible fight with my girlfriend, and there was just no way I was going to ask her to drive me to LA. And so this is back in the day before cell phones and all that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of blew off Dean and his brother. And so anyways, long story short, Dean and his brother ended up being a guy named Dean and Robert DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, damn. Cool. Yeah.
So, that was like one quick, sidestep of coulda, shoulda, woulda, So
Yeah.
kids, show up to wherever you get called. You never know who
You
it's
have,
gonna be.
Exactly.
You just never know,
you have
right?
no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first like big, but that took years to come to fruition, and you realized, holy cow, look what that could have turned into. I mean, that was literally, a decade of, like wow. But anyways, after that, I taught drum lessons throughout the San Diego area and played in different groups and, doing different things. I played in disco bands and I was doing a lot of recording work. And that, some of the earlier things that I played on, I don't know, Casey, do you remember a bunch of State of Mind stickers that were all over Carlsbad? Did you ever see
I
those?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I played in that band State of Mind, and we did an
Yeah.
album together. That was a lot of fun. And then when I was in 2001, a guy that I'd been playing with, Kevin Cooper, who's a bass player, he had the gig with Ike Turner. And so Ike needed a drummer. And so he comes to me and he says, "Hey, Billy, man, Ike needs a drummer." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll come over and do it." And so that's when I went and auditioned for Ike Turner, and I got the gig. And one thing
And
that
how old were you at that time?
33.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about in my 30s. So from my early 20s on to like my early 30s, I was playing in different, blues bands and just, whatever else I could play in. I was making a living doing it, music was paying my rent.
Right.
It was a that was cool. I mean, that at least I had that going,
Did you meet Tina?
No, but I knew her sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew her sister Eileen.
Okay, cool.
She was really cool. So that, there's a whole, saga about Ike and Tina that,
Right.
that's a whole nother episode, but I never really,
Exactly.
I never knew any of that side of it. I never saw any of that side of it. I just,
Right. If you're just the hired gun, like we were talking about, you're just here to play the beats on the songs and
yeah.
Deal with the drama.
and make sure you're in the groove, dude.
But, little did I know that I would be like playing with a guy that, made rock and roll history. I mean, he's the guy, he's the reason why rock and roll was invented. He's he's the original rock and roll record. The first rock and roll record was Ike Turner, Jackie Brenston, Rocket 88. So he's the guy who started this entire thing that we're doing.
Jesus.
He's
And I
like
got-
a shoulder.
I got to play with him.
That's
Damn,
wild,
that's a
dude.
trip.
And
What year is that record? How does that compare to like Chuck Berry and some of the other guys we would think of?
1953.
Okay.
Jesus.
So Chuck Berry was right around the same time. They were all coming out of the South. It's my home state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rad.
That was another thing that we had together, and we were all Scorpios.
Hey, I'm a Scorpio too.
Woo!
October 26th.
Yeah, I'm November 21st.
Oh, so we're right on the edge of it.
Yeah,
I'm on the
I'm-
beginning of it. You're on the end of it.
I'm a Scorpitarius.
What is it? Virgo before me? Is that what it is? I can't remember.
Let me get my
But I'm-
chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull it out, bro. I know you got it on hand.
We're
It's
doing-
always
Maybe a Virgio.
it's the it's
Virgio.
A Virgio, yeah.
what if
I
we
will
found
tell
out-
you what I still make fun of me. so.
Oh, what up, John Gacy's Crawl Space, October 27th.
Oh my gosh.
What up, dude?
We got a bunch of scorpions up.
Yeah, a bunch of scorpions tonight, dude.
It's a good band.
Do you remember getting do you remember getting Casey as a student, and how long did you teach?
I
Casey?
do. I remember getting Casey as a student. I used to okay, so here's what happened. I remember going into the Guitar Center on their grand opening in San Marcos. And as you can imagine, the drum department at a Guitar Center on a grand opening night was absolute fucking chaos.
Madness. Yeah.
Yeah, cacophony. I mean, just 10 million decibels
Also a
of just,
good band.
just everybody wailing away. And I remember sitting down on a kit and I was just kind of like, just sort of feeling out of groove. And I'm just kind of like, just playing a little thing, playing it really quiet, and And the next thing you know, I'm the only one playing.
Mm.
And I rode that little wave of like silencing that place for like 6 years. I never had to I never
great.
had to advertise. Just at Guitar Center, they had my flyers out, and you know they did the advertising for me, and they would just tell them call this guy, and so that's how I got Casey.
That's so
Rad,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
You were teaching my friend Lewis,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then you were there doing a lesson one day, and I was like, hey, and I wanted to hook up with you and do lessons, and that was that. I remember that.
Well, Lewis is still doing it, man, and he's a
Nice.
fantastic drummer. He's phenomenal.
So
he just
real
recorded
quick,
it.
so Lewis was the first, and then you went Casey after, or did you guys discover him? Did you discover him first?
Oh, he was teaching Lewis already, my friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what happened. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
teaching Lewis, and then okay, that's what
David and I were in a band with him briefly. We've talked about like a lunchtime battle band. But yeah, Battle of the Bands.
Battle.
I remember that Battle of the Bands. That was great.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Lewis was killing it back then, and I was like, I had played drums in bands, but I really wanted to like learn like his technique or like see, and you were there one day like teaching him, and I was like, dude, I want to do lessons. Is that cool? And so we hooked up. He used to come to my parents' house for a while, and like I remember our first lesson. I still remember it, and you were basically like, play something for me, and so I was like, okay, and so I just like started doing weird fills and trying to be all like technical and weird, and you were just like, all right, just like play like a beat, like just play a groove,
calm the fuck down.
and then I played some groove, just simple, and you were like, okay, that tells me more about your drumming than any of that other stuff you were just doing, like and like it's kind of cool.
That's a good.
That's kind of like when someone gets a guitar and they're just like going, like they like figure one scale out, or like a pattern, like they just go all the way down the strings with it. It's like, all right, let's hone this in a little bit.
I could probably learn a sweep and just continuously learn it until it looks like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if you tell me to try and play,
that's a good lesson thing though. It's like you get to feel like his actual groove. You get to feel where he's starting from. Like it's not like him trying to because you put him on the spot. He's like it's like trying to go as hard as he can, but like when you actually like, all right, let's go down to like 4/4, like 120.
Yeah, like what was your thinking on that, Bill? That's cool. Yeah, like just I get it now, but I just want to hear how you.
Well, it's to this day, like today I was teaching at the Seattle Drum School, and I've got students of all walks of life, and I've got everybody from 12-year-old kids all the way up to 70-year-old guys, and the first thing I'm like is like, how are you selling that? You can play a beat, now sell it to me. Sell me the beat.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. It's like if you can sell it to me and play it convincingly, and that's really what it boils down to, because that's what we do as musicians. We take a thing and we take a concept or a piece of music, and we have to hone our skills to the point where we play it convincingly, and therefore we're selling it.
Definitely.
Right.
And having your own little fling on it too, because you can, especially in extreme metal drumming, you can kind of just see the same kind of technique being reproduced by multiple humans. And yes, it's sick that they can do that and play like that and all that stuff. But I now getting older and just like being, fully marinated in all the shit that I've listened to, it's like the guys that really stand out and show me themselves through their playing I will buy that. You're selling it to me, I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we do. We're in the kind of like this cosmic sort of packing and shipping business where we're like, okay, so drummers, this is my theory on drummers. We draw lines in the coloring book for other people to scribble their melodic colors into.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so therefore, we create little rhythmic containers, for melody to go into. So that's like this cosmic packing and shipping industry that we find ourselves in.
That makes
Fuck,
sense because like
dude.
if the rhythm section or the guitar goes off the drummer's box or the what you've drawn for them, it's just like everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? But if the drummer is like decides to slow things down and the guitar player's there with him, he's within the box. It just keeps the groove going. It could be odd, like slower tempos to higher tempos and stuff. But if the box is like they're both following each other, it's like contained. It's not like going outside the lines too much.
Or if the drummer is laying down something so incredibly steady that's, then it allows the guitar player to play something very legato and, very sort of broad over the top of that. So it's kind of like floating over the top of the entire rhythm,
Yeah.
and some counter sort of melody, that occurs. And, that becomes a new realm of creativity.
Oh,
Mhm.
damn. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
I've also grown to in my later years appreciate the relationship between the bass player and the drummer. I didn't really fully get that when I started involving myself in music, and I'm only a vocalist, so that's probably why I didn't pay attention to that as much as I should have. But now that I'm seasoned in the game, I'm like, the bass player and the drummer are my favorite.
That's like
part of everything.
that's more like the roots of all rock. Like for us, we were like, like we're going like 300 beats a minute, and there's like it's not really, but like in like a blues band or a rock band, like the bass and drums, that's like that's your skeleton.
Well,
And
that's
then,
the drivetrain.
yeah, exactly.
I got a
And
question
then-
for Bill.
Yeah, do it.
Coming in. So like when I came to you, I was already pretty much playing pretty much in a death metal band. Like I was still doing the Rush and progressive rocks, and you were showing me all kinds of cool stuff, odd times and really cool stuff. But a lot of it, well, I was like, how do I play fast and have stamina? And like I was kind of just tensing up my arm and doing the blast beats and all that and getting super cramped and tired and stuff. And you totally taught, and also you taught me like how to do doubles and sticking and all, I mean, everything. Like you taught me the whole gamut. But yeah, like I just what was like my question is, what was your perception to like metal, how like that style of metal with the full on the growls and all that kind of stuff, and like and also the like the super fast playing and the double bass and the blast beats like at that time, like because you were always super cool about it, but I know it's not like your main style of music for sure.
Well, it's music's gonna evolve, and
Yeah.
I was around during the very groundbreaking, like Metallica and Anthrax.
Right.
That was the double bass stuff that we had to listen to, and then death metal kind of came out of like Venom and Venom were the forefathers of death metal.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
And I had all their albums, like At War with Satan was one I remember being a big one that was like, oh, this will piss off the parents right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blast it.
yeah, exactly. So we had that, and then it just is as music will do. Musicians are going to evolve, and so really what it is that if there are a core group of techniques that are going to give you the ability to play anything, and having good hand technique and the ability to count and understanding subdivisions, those are the things that are going to get you to where you need to be as a drummer, because if you know how to count something, then you can play it. I mean, really, that's what it boils down to. If you can count it, you can play it. That's it. And so having good hand technique and having the ability to play singles, doubles, triples, and to do it relaxed, because that's the most important thing, is to play relaxed. That
Yeah.
whatever you want to use it for, however you want to play, whatever music you're going to play, it'll work. You can play jazz, you can play blues, you can play rock, you can play death metal. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Gospel chops.
Yep. Be relaxed and stuff, and then also like the Mueller method and stuff, right?
Yep.
And all that, just movement of like how did you describe that? It was like how to move the wrist and stuff. I mean, I teach it my own way, but I know.
Well, yeah, there's most drummers when they make an upstroke, you see how my fingers flew out like that?
Yeah.
They're flying out like that. So look where the stick's really landing. It's like, you see how high up my arm is? It's like not even at a 45 degree. So bringing that wrist back all the way to the top of the stroke, that's a point where most drummers, who are beginning don't ever exploit that.
Mhm.
And you really have to get, the full range, because this is a machine that you're working. You've got finger control right here as well as wrist control. Wrist control is for slower things, and finger control is where all your speed's going to come from.
Yeah.
And then you're using them in conjunction with one another. So if you're playing something medium fast, see, I'm using part wrist right here, but I'm also using my fingers in there. And then, playing them groups of 4 like that, or 3 or 2 like that, just to, exploit emotion to make it work for you. Hey guys, I got to run to the restroom real
Go
quick.
for it, dude.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right.
For sure.
I'll be right back. Okay.
Get it.
You know what? I think I need to also.
Yeah.
Should have
Well-
put on my meme break channel thing.
Sure.
No, it's all right. If
Just
you
the
want to,
picture.
go
All
for it.
good.
If you want.
Just the picture, yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah,
there-
do that. Be right
There you
back.
go, there you go.
Boom.
There you go.
Dude.
No, that's cool. That's cool hearing. That's. I mean, like I know because Casey's gone, so I could talk good about him for a little while. But I mean, he had this kind of like feel to him. I could tell his when you talk about the wrist, I could tell Casey's wrists were always doing that full thing. Like I would literally I'd practice with him for days and days and hours and just watch him. Just so the wrists actually make a lot of sense.
So
to me, watching
Joseph,
him do that.
as we are non-drummers, and
Yeah.
and Joel's actually hitting a nerve with me too, because lately I've really been paying attention to wrist technique in any drummer that I'm watching play. And so what is it about, like, is that really like the main shit now? It's like everybody used to be like, oh, fast feet, whatever, but it's like it's really in the hands, dude.
So I have students and I will watch their technique and I'm like, man, you are hitting that speed barrier because everything is like a full arm motion.
Yeah.
And it's like
Not using your
you're
joint.
using you're not being as efficient. And if you just get that thing going, you can get 2 strikes out of one motion, out of one
Yeah.
arm motion, and it's like da 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 instead of da 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 da. But it's actually what freaks me out is watching them not be able to do it and being like, that used to be me, but I can't relate to it because I would never try to play like that anymore. So
so it's like like you can't take yourself back to before you learn that.
Oh, well, it's weird because I can like imitate how they do it, and then I'm like, now just do it like this instead, and then they can't follow me to that, and it's like,
yeah,
well, just practice and think about it, and think about it like fluid, and I remember Casey teaching me that as well when I was his student. He would, I would be like playing like probably about the same age as when he was Bill's student. I was like 17, maybe I was a little older. And I was like, yeah, I can play like punk rock. I can do all these, and I want to play decrepit stuff. And he would be like, all right, well, Muller technique is what you need. And I don't know. I guess everything that he said about with Bill teaching him, it just like almost happened to the T 7 or 8 years later. Like, I don't know what more to say other than that.
I was even watching Bill do some stuff earlier, and I was like, that posture that he had while he was doing that really reminds me of Casey too. So it's just like maybe even like how you sit, if you're taught by somebody who obviously made an impact on Casey, anybody who makes an impact on you, you end up just kind of not mimicking, but like just learning how they do things, and you end up becoming, you could tell like who was taught by who almost if you just sit them right
it's
next
like a
to
big
each other.
amalgamation of all the people and all the like him working on stuff on his own, and then certain techniques with this guy, and then certain techniques like
Bill, did you have any other students that went on to have drum careers?
Yeah, well, like we were talking about Lewis Lewis Layoutis, he's got a band called Elon Musk.
That's awesome.
So
name podcast ever.
He's a really interesting guy. He turned out to be really cool, and his music is very interesting and got some adventure to it. Yeah, you can find. I think they're on YouTube or Facebook, one of the two. But
I'll
or
definitely be referencing this episode for every band name I've heard because I've loved them all.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best band name episode ever.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's a few people around, Seattle that I've been teaching, and I can't really think of anybody like off the top of my head. Oh, wait. God, yes, I can. So in 1994, I was working for a little drum company called Orange County Drum and Percussion, OCDP. They became like the first like boutique drum company.
Yep.
Their shit was everywhere. So Daniel, the owner, says, "Hey, I got this friend of mine, Adrian, who needs to learn how to play to a click track. Otherwise, he's going to be replaced on the album by a studio drummer, and they've got major label representation." And I was like, "Okay, I can do this." So I went up and I found Adrian in Anaheim and taught him a drum lesson, and then I didn't hear from him for like 4 years. And he calls me up one day. He's like, "Hey man, we're playing San Diego Sports Arena tonight. You want to come to the show?" And I'm like, "Sure." "Okay, yeah." And so we went and saw No Doubt.
Nice.
Whoa.
So I taught Adrian Young how to play to a click track, so he didn't get replaced on the album.
Nice, dude. You saved him.
So rad.
That's pretty sweet.
So sick, dude. No doubt. Actually, the Tragic Kingdom album was
That was the album.
that was part of
Oh,
my.
yeah.
That was a big part of my childhood, dude.
That was like one of the earliest albums. I mean, top 10 earliest albums I ever purchased. That was.
That's a
Yeah.
fucking rad album, front to
Yeah.
back for me, dude. I can
Well-
still listen to it today and still get total nostalgic vibes. and-
I'm just a girl. Wait,
yeah, there's some really
And
fun.
the bass lines are sick,
stuff
and the
on
guitar
that
lines
album.
are sick. Yeah, that's all.
I probably taught him that beat.
Yeah, dude.
Nice. That's so sick.
He was like, that was the beat you taught him in the lesson, and he took it and used it.
Probably,
Yeah.
I teach at a school of rock, and they did, I think, was it like Girl Power or whatever the theme of the show was? They did that song, "I'm Just a Girl," and I taught a lot. I taught a lot of people how to play that song on a lot of different instruments, like keyboard, drums, and bass, and everything. So that was my recent, no doubt, re-indoctrination.
Disneyland samples in the intro to that album too. There's actually audio from being in the park on the intro. I would figure that out because I'm a freak on that shit.
So if Bill's was my teacher, and then I taught Joseph when he was in high school, did these kids make them Bill's great grand
Yeah.
students?
Bill has
students.
great
To
grand
grand
students through me.
Oh,
That's
great grand
true.
students! Wow.
Yeah.
I used to play Disneyland
Oh, cool.
Oh, you played in Disneyland? Okay,
at
perfect.
the
Yeah, I gotta hear this story,
the
dude.
Tomorrowland stage.
No shit. The one that where they
Everybody
did, like-
rises up from
yeah.
You know why they're all smiling when they come out of the ground?
Why?
Because
Okay.
they're happy because it's the garbage pit down there.
Oh, really?
I shit you not, man. It's like that's where the garbage pit's right next to the band.
Oh, the
God, you
actual
don't
garbage.
ruin the
Okay.
magic for me.
You come out of
bro.
there, you're like, "Oh my god, it's so nice. It's not stinky anymore."
They're all
Fresh
like,
air.
"Fuck yeah.
I can breathe. Yeah.
That's how they make you come out stoked. They just put you in hell real quick before you go.
Exactly. It's the contrast, you know.
Okay, I gotta dig one more time. I don't know if where I saw this was legit or not because I couldn't find it again. But did you have any connection with Taylor Hawkins when he was around Laguna
Taylor
Beach area?
Hawkins, yeah, he used to hang out at Orange County Drum and Percussion, and so he would come in and practice in my teaching room. And he came in one day, and he was back there learning the Alanis Morissette gig.
Oh, yeah. That's what he did before
Right,
Foo
right.
Fighters, right? Yeah.
Yep. That he was with Atlantis, and before that, he was with Sass Jordan.
Okay.
So that's a little early Taylor history there. But he would come into the drum shop and hang out. And every time he'd come in and play, I'd have to go out and I'd have to ask Daniel Jensen, who was I think that's Travis Barker's drum tech now. That's what he's been doing.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd have to ask Daniel or John Machado, who was the other guy. I'd be like, "Hey man, Taylor just totally wrecked the cymbals. Go in the cymbal room and get something." So they'd replace the cymbals every time he'd come in. I mean, he would just destroy everything. It was funny as hell.
Like hit them hard enough to break them.
Oh yeah, I mean, it would be like they would be the saddest cymbals you'd ever seen.
Yeah. It's assault. Well, isn't it ironic?
Man,
Oh man, he was a beast. Yeah.
No, he was great. I mean, I've never played drums, but I could just tell that, watching him, that he had a super control over the instrument.
yeah, Joel's apparently the only non-drummer on the podcast.
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, I was a drummer, dude. What's up, bro?
Dude,
I
I
was
mean,
in
I
a band
can,
called Haya.
well, I can drum on my knees pretty not good.
Joel's
so.
got a fast finger that can twitch on the desk pretty fast.
I love that Casey now thinks that I'm a drummer because he found out I was a drummer in a band.
You're a guitar player too. You could play. What is it?
I could
what's
play.
the-
Hey, Anthony for 20 years and didn't know.
I Wish You Were Here by
Wish You Were
Pink
Here.
Floyd.
Nice.
that one.
Here. Hey man,
Yeah,
it's a good-
dude.
good- you gotta hold
Um,
down the
I
groove.
can't remember anything else other than maybe a Stain song or something.
So when did the Paul Gilbert thing come about? Just skipping ahead to what I
Oh,
assume
man, you
is
get
a
to the-
juicy
you get to
part
the-
of the story.
You get to
Yeah.
the climax, all
heart.
right?
Come on, we're in climax mode right now.
You know what?
I'm a guitar player. I'm a guitar player. So.
Here's the deal. I got a pizza coming out in a minute.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
it,
Okay. Yeah. So
No, no
So
rush.
I feel like you should stand by the pizza to
Maybe
make
we
sure it
could do
doesn't
it.
burn, and then come
Yeah.
back once
We'll
it's ready. and-
kick it for
Toast
now.
Pizza on the pot.
yeah,
on
let me
Paul.
go grab the pizza here.
Do it.
real quick.
Perfect.
yeah, grab the
And
pizza.
then we'll segue right into the Paul Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
That'd be
Nice.
awesome.
Hey,
I
hang
love
on.
it.
God, I wish it was like the future enough where you could he can send me a slice.
I think I wish it was the future enough to where I could be where he's at
Oh,
in
dude, this is
space right now, dude.
I
Like
know, I know.
all the space that's floating around him. I'm like, I want to just be in space doing a podcast right now. How sick
Wow.
would that be?
It's cool with him that like he's like a lot of people, they get older and they're not really into the technology thing. He's like older and like fucking getting a Twitch channel and like
But he's
jamming
not
and shit.
that
That's-
much older than us, dude. He was 24 when he was teaching Casey at 17. So
I
it's
don't.
really,
I'm not trying
you
to
know?
math like right now. I'm just saying like a lot of people like even at
Well,
my
I just
age, like,
mathed and I
Look, dude,
found out he's not that much older.
all right, let's talk about you and technology for a second then.
Okay, fine. Let's. Joel just needs to grill somebody on tech.
No, I was just talking about like how cool it was, and then you grilled me. So okay.
No, I was just. All I was leaning on was he's not that much older, you know.
Oh, I know, but it's like the Twitch, dude. We're all too old for Twitch. You know what I mean?
I'm too old for everything.
I know, no, you are, but you're
Leave
young enough
me
for
in
breaks.
the past, guys. I'm gonna be in the wake. You guys are
You're young
gonna
enough for
fucking.
breaks, but I'm saying that like I was too. I'm in tech for a living, and I'm too old for Twitch. So like to see him doing that's really cool. Like a lot of musicians like you got Mike Gilbert, everyone like jumping into the whole Twitch thing, and that's fucking awesome. And I love that like he's
Mhm.
already in it, and he's like older than
Well,
us.
Bill
Yeah.
has always been super tech savvy.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day. He used to make websites and stuff. So
He
he's
says
okay.
he's had his website since 1977. Oh, sorry,
I was like,
1997.
there was no internet.
That was a mistake.
Wow.
There was work groups.
2
Maybe they were
decades
sending, like,
off, dude.
Yeah. He was like at Stanford
Oh, I
Labs.
got
They're
a
like
cat fight going on.
inventing
We got
the
a cat
internet.
fight. Guys,
the
I
cat
had
fight.
my
You
first cat fight on the
have to turn the
podcast.
camera if you're gonna fucking
I
talk
will
about a
do
cat
right
fight.
here. You can't see.
I can't see him.
You
Dude,
can't
I
see.
just had a cat brawl right behind. That's my first one, dude. Thank you. Thank you.
A cat. Oh, you had a cat brawl.
Well, look at what if Donkey's nostrils had eyeballs. What? Bill's he has this like thing when he's gone that's like a revolving meme caster thing. All these hilarious memes, dude. And we're like laughing like what?
Yeah, we were talking about that before the podcast. Like, that's a
Yeah.
good one. But literally, like, there's always like the guy that has the pushback on like memes and stuff, and then like he always gets ruined because they're just too funny. You can't. Like, there's a meme that'll come along that will make any human being in history laugh. I guarantee
It's the
it.
greatest way to like
Oh my God, it
sum
is
up
a
a
cat.
punchline in one visual image.
Yeah, yeah. Check out this geriatric fucking DJ fucking talking.
Geriatric DJ. Oh, those some fighting.
Well, okay, so
Uh,
like when Paul McCartney played with Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic, and everyone was like, "Oh, it was like Nirvana," but it's like Paul McCartney was like so much older than Kurt would have even been at that show. That kind of destroyed the whole. Oh, they're like different generations in music.
Yeah.
It like kind of like mixed it all together for me. It kind of fucked me up a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
damn, like Paul McCartney fronted Nirvana, kind of weird. Like,
Yeah,
You know
it's
who I didn't
fucking weird.
mind fronting Nirvana was Joan Jett. They did like a song, and I thought it was okay. It's pretty cool.
You were like, never mind. This is funny. Sorry. Oh, dad jokes.
Dude,
Speaking
dude,
about
you got
being old.
you got some zingers tonight, dude.
Yeah, Joel's full
The
of piss.
one-liners are just rolling out of the
We're missing
gorilla
all these. This is
tonight.
I'm bringing piss to a ship fight.
You want to know what's crazy to put like the age thing into perspective a little bit. One other thing that I wonder if this is actually true, and I forget where I read it, but recently I read that like somebody just like a couple within the last couple of years passed away, and that person's father fought in the Civil War. So the guy fought in the Civil War when he was 16, had a kid when he was 81 or something like that. And then that dude lived to 98. So literally somebody who was
That
a
pizza.
direct son from somebody who fought in the Civil War just died 2 years ago. That's a
Jesus.
crazy fucking perspective, because we look at the Civil War.
How the fuck was he 190?
They were both like
140?
100 something years
So
old.
he fought in the Civil War. So his dad fought in the Civil War at 16,
Was he 2?
and then when that dude who fought in the Civil War at 16 knocked the chick
I
up,
didn't click.
knocked somebody up at 80,
That was
dude.
him.
He knocked somebody up in his 80s, and then that dude lived to 98.
That's some solid genes right there. I hope he was
Jesus.
on the right side of the war.
The right side, like
that's
the
actually a
right?
part of the story I do
Dude.
not remember 100%, and hopefully he was on the right side, dude.
That's what's the beautiful about being a guy. That's what's unfortunate about. I mean, not unfortunate, but women have to carry the baby and stuff. But guys can just, anyways, shoot it late. Anyways,
With no Blue Chew, which, by the way, we'll take Blue Chew as a sponsor if you guys are listening.
sometimes we drink too much. We need some help.
Right,
But
so you're talking about the Mueller method, and
Yeah, Mahler method. Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, Paul Gilbert. That's what.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
But
get.
finish
us
your
onto.
pizza, man. It's cool. We can keep.
I know
going.
that pizza
No,
looks fucking awesome.
It is awesome. You know why it's awesome? Because I just discovered a condiment. It's called ghost pepper salt.
Oh no, I do. Did you get it from
Oh.
Trader Joe's or no?
I don't know if they have it at Trader Joe's. We have a place here in north of Seattle. It's called Double D Meats,
Okay.
and they have like every spice on the freaking planet in there.
I'm all
And
about
so
the spice. I love ghost
so
pepper taste.
I went to their salt section and I saw, oh yeah, ghost pepper salt, and so I bought a can of it. It's got the grinder thing on it.
Yeah. That's what mine has with the,
Oh,
the flakes.
jeez,
Yeah,
holy
it's so
crap!
good. Yeah,
It
I
sure
love it.
is.
You
Yeah.
don't have to mess with any of the sriracha. Or you just go just do a little sprinkle on there, and you're like, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh, I need to get that.
So
Yeah.
the Paul Gilbert thing, the way this came about, I got called to do a guitar camp. They needed a drum teacher, so I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. It was at University of California, San Marcos in 2015, and it was for a Guitar Workshop Plus was the name of the program. And so I had one student, and so this one student and me, we hung out all day, played drums, and just we go check in on other people, like let's go crash the class where the guitar, and like, hey, we're the drummers, we're just coming to check on what's happening here, so like we're gonna see how we're gonna learn your songs for the big concert at the end of the week. And so anyways, that's what we would do. So and then every night they had a feature artist. First night was Stuart Ham.
Oh, Stu Ham, yeah.
Stu Ham, yeah. So I went up to him and say, hey, I'm Bill. I play drums, and if you need anything, oh hey man, it's okay. I got tracks to play too. Okay, cool. Hey, no problem. So the second night was Rhonda Smith from Prince's band, the bass player.
Oh yeah.
And she was badass.
Shredder.
But so I did the whole same thing. Hey, I'm Bill. I play drums, and want to jam. She's like, no, I got tracks. I'm like, okay, that's cool. All right. So she played the tracks, and it was exciting and cool. And so I was like, all right. So the next night I went up to Paul Gilbert and I said, hey man, you probably got tracks, but I'm here. And he goes, you know any Hendrix? And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes, I know some Hendrix. Let's play. So we started playing, and it was just like a perfect fit. And so we ended up, doing the concert, and it was like it was the highlight for me. It was getting to play with Paul. He was so amazing, and so at the end of that, I told him, well, I'm about to move to Seattle from here, and I know you're in LA. He says, well, we're about to move to Portland. I was like, no way, really? He says, yeah. So he says, call, get in touch with me after the first of the year, and let's just catch up. So, okay, no problem. And so it was like March or April of 2016. I sent him an email. I was like, hey man, how's, Portland treating you? He says, well, we're just getting settled in. He says, you want to come down and, do some stuff? And I said, yeah. So I went down to Portland and recorded 2 songs for his PG-30 album, which was released in Japan. And it's a double CD, and it was instrumental songs and then vocal songs.
Oh, okay.
So so I was on the opening cut for both of those discs. The first track was called U-Turn Boogie, and it's on my SoundCloud, Bill Ray Drums.
Okay.
And you can find the Paul Gilbert the 2 tracks there. And then the second one was called The Endless Enigma by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And it was just like a section of the song, but his wife played keyboards on it. And then we did the song and he sang. And then I didn't hear from him for like a couple of years. And I was thinking, he probably got Thomas Lang or something to replace my parts or something. I never heard back from him. Well, so anyways, he called me out of the blue, or he didn't call me. He sent me an email. It was like 2018, and just like I'm at a bar playing a gig, and I was on break, and here's an email from Paul Gilbert. I'm like, okay. And he's like, first question, can you do some tour dates on the East Coast in September? And I was like, it's September now. You mean like at the end of this month? I said, yeah, I can do it. He says, okay, great. Second question, can you come down to Portland and be there on Sunday to help me finish my album? I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dropped everything I was doing, and I went down to Portland, and I went and recorded part of Behold Electric Guitar.
How far is it?
Damn.
Just curious from.
It's about 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he got me an Airbnb, and I went down there and stayed and did half of the Behold album.
Man,
nice.
I've been following your work, Bill, like throughout the years we've kept in touch, even though we did lessons back, like that's what's been cool is you've been a friend of mine too, like over all of my touring days, everything. Like I would talk to you on the phone, man. You've been so cool. And I remember when you like posted that, like, yeah, I'm jamming with Paul Gilbert, you're like, holy shit, this guy's a really good guitar player. And I was just like, first of all, what? Like jamming with Paul Gilbert, and then second of all, like, yeah, man, like he's like one of our heroes, dude. I was just like, we were just blown away. I was just like, what the fuck? Like telling all my
That's
friends.
some weird interwoven synchronicity thing, because you came across Paul Gilbert separately, Casey, and then you were taught by Bill.
Yeah.
And then it all comes together. It's so cool, dude.
Paul Gilbert. I mean, one thing about Paul Gilbert, like going to NAMM a couple years ago, like, man, he's got to change up his guitars because those things are fucking solid pieces of wood. Those things are probably, it's the heaviest guitar I've ever held. It was probably 15 pounds, 16 pounds. Like I like put it on. I was like, what the like? I was like weighed down by it. I was like, dude, like you're not getting any younger. This is a tree trunk.
So what's like the average weight?
Like 2 or 3, I don't know.
No, for real. Like, what's the average weight?
I don't know. I'm 15 pounds is probably shooting pretty high. I'm probably 8 or 9 pounds. I would say average is like 2 pounds, 3 pounds, something like that. It was just I remember putting it on because I was like, they had the whole Ibanez section and stuff, and I was like, Paul Gilbert's brand new model just came out, and I was like, fucking Paul Gilbert, like I'm gonna definitely like get a chance to play this. If I get to play it, I'm so doing it. So I grabbed it and I was like, Jesus, brother, like I'm not trying to do like I'm not trying to do like curls. Like I'm just trying to put on a guitar. And it's I could tell why he did it. Like, wants that sustain or something like that around those. I know he's probably a nerd with tone like we all are, but like it was a fucking piece of like the heaviest, thickest, densest wood that I put on my shoulder. And I was like, man, this is not sustainable. I don't know how you do. I was just wussing out immediately.
So
Put up, wait, real
Yeah.
quick. Put up. Let's
No question at the
behind
end.
the scenes stuff, real quick. Carrie, this is what happens when Carrie gives a compliment.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Let's all read this. Let's all actually, Anthony, you read it.
And also, Casey is usually the best guitar player in whatever band he's in playing drums, and that is fucking
That's true. That's not a false.
very true. We love you, Casey. All right.
Can you guys see this?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, want to put it back up?
Oh, you can't see it.
I can see
You
it.
can see it.
I was just looking at his Bill's SoundCloud. Anything you want to highlight in here, Bill?
Super smooth sidestep there.
There's
Casey.
there's a some of that less risky stuff right there is from the 1990s.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that's pretty funny stuff. God, what songs are there? I'll have to go look, but yeah, there's an excerpt, the LOA excerpt, which is the League of Assholes excerpt.
Oh, is that on here?
It probably is up a little higher.
I like down this way. Oh, loading.
I'm sure everybody in the League of Assholes is such nice people.
Yeah, I know. It's like death metal. It's like
exactly.
when people don't know death metal, like, they're like worried about it. I'm like, dude, they're nicer than any genre. Like,
Exactly. There's the Paul Gilbert stuff right there.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Rad.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Check it out, everybody.
That Ike Turner Thanksgiving thing. That was I got that voicemail from my pretty much my adopted sister like 4 years after he died on Thanksgiving. She's like, I've been saving this voicemail from Ike for you. Yeah, and I got it like 4 years after he passed.
Shit.
So and it was him wishing us happy Thanksgiving, and it was like, oh man, it floored me, dude.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Man.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
cool,
good
man.
little digital relic to keep. If you have it, keep it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I save all my old voicemails from people, like from my mom and stuff.
Mhm.
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 Yep. Nowadays, it's pretty the phone technology. You can just save it and like send it somewhere to your email. Now it's like there used
It's
to be
not
like
even
answering
that.
machines.
It's like you
had
don't
like, a tape, a little tiny tape that you had to like. You'd have to hold on to the tape and save
Yeah.
a voicemail. Now
That
it's,
little tiny in your voice. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It wasn't even a voicemail then. It was called just a message machine.
I mean, think about how music technologies come. You used to have special equipment to play music. You had to have a turntable, or you had to have a cassette deck, or you had to have a reel-to-reel, or an 8-track player, or
Just to listen to it,
or a CD player.
Yeah.
Just to listen to it, and now we take it for granted because it's like it's ubiquitous now. I mean, everybody's pretty soon going to have their own little theme song play.
Well,
they walk out.
Yeah.
I was thinking your version of bringing records to school was my version of bringing CDs to school, and I'm sure you still break out records, and obviously I'm saying I still do CDs too. I drive an older vehicle, so I don't even have an auxiliary cable for the digital stuff anyways. No Bluetooth, no nothing. So I still enjoy the
Just know you can get a stereo, like put it that could do
There's also a FM transmitter you can
like
get.
$200 or something.
Goes through.
No, fuck you guys, dude. I have a 6 CD disc changer. I drive every weekend, and I like to pick my 6 albums that I'm gonna
That's
just
cool though.
run
I miss
through.
that. I miss that too because I miss like having to like I had to like I had a 6 CD changer that was in my trunk. So
I
if
remember
wanted
in
to,
the BMW, dude.
no, it was in the Saturn. It was before all that. So I
No,
literally
wait, no,
had to,
that
like,
was Dan, sorry.
Wait.
I literally had to like pick my CDs, and I had to open the trunk and put the CDs in, like, and that's still like compared to like back in the day with records and stuff. That's
Yeah,
still
they had
like
record
new
players and
technology.
cars, didn't they? Like there was.
Oh, I remember
there was
hearing
some
about that.
models of that. Bill, do you know
Someone
anything
told
about
us
that?
about that, and they had like a
We had
skip
talked about it
on
on the Jarzenbeck episode. And
Jarzenbeck.
actually, shout out Mike Marinkovich. He gave us a little a message. I forget where he sent it after that episode, and told us there was a Cadillac that did have
That's
a
right.
record player that came with it, dude.
Imagine
Wild,
that.
right? Wild, bright. Did I just say bright?
Wild, right? No, that's I mean, no, they had like, the anti-skip technology with CDs, how there'd be like a DSP, like this one's got a
Oh,
60-second DSP, but they had that though with records on that, like the skip on the needle and stuff. Like it would hold down a certain pressure and stuff. That's what someone told us on one of the podcasts about that. It was like
Yeah.
the early, I mean, it was obviously way more terrible compared to like, it
Yeah.
wasn't like capturing the CD into like RAM and then holding on to it. It was like, nope, if it bumps, you're fucked. He can't help you there. There's no RAM there. But anyway,
Jarzenbeck. Bill, have you heard of Ron Jarzenbeck and
That was
Like Watchtower and that stuff? Yeah, okay. And Billy
Billy
Bob.
Billy Bob Thornton,
Bobby
Bob
Jarzenbeck.
Jarzenbeck, yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah. Who did he play with?
Rob
He-
Alford, and now he plays with George
Halford.
Strait.
Rob Halford.
And
No,
Yeah.
currently he's still with Halford, right?
no, Bobby, I don't know.
They
But
play
I
with
know-
I mean, Halford
playing-
probably hasn't done
playing with
anything
George
cool.
Strait right now. I follow him on Facebook.
Oh, George Strait. Okay.
Yeah.
No shit.
He's out in Texas. Yeah.
Whoa.
But yeah,
That's so crazy to think that
Yeah.
Bobby Jarzenbeck's
That's
playing with
nuts.
George Strait, dude.
Wow.
Everything that he could do, and he's playing country music.
well, I mean, dude.
I know it pays the bills.
You know,
right?
I have a theory that's where all the hair metal bands was over to country.
yeah,
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
they
because,
keep it in
you
the
know,
pocket.
From Hairspray to Tassels.
Exactly.
It's the next album name.
Do you guys know who's the guitarist of Poison?
What was
Bird Problems next album
DeVille?
from Hairspray
yeah,
to Tassels.
DeVille.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
Oh, CC DeVille. Yeah, he's a treasure.
So I taught a
That's crazy.
student recently here in Newport Beach, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my friend's dad used to be in Poison." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then he's like,
What are
"Yeah,
you
he
talking
was
about,
like our
Frank DeVille. What are you talking about,
he
Frank
was-
DeVille?
Yeah, exactly." He's like, "Yeah, his dad was our soccer coach, so I like had multiple interactions." And so I looked it up, and it's CC DeVille, lives here in Newport Beach, has a son on the soccer team with the student I had. And
Jesus.
and I looked it up, and I think Poison was active.
No, they
preparing to
were
do
they were just on
something.
they were on tour because I remember I saw some
Yeah.
like because Brett Michaels is the singer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw some like someone post like a reel where he's like they're doing an arena tour opening, maybe even for Motley Crue or something. They were doing something big like that, and watching him like trying to cover that bald spot, just like what's up? With that bandana still, and he's like
I was
all
like,
super
I was
tanned
like,
and-
I want to show you a video of your friend's dad from back in the day. And we got through like 10 seconds before I had to censor it. I'm like, all right, you're not allowed to watch this. It's a Poison music video, It's,
yeah.
but I was like, that was him. You saw it, so yeah. That's
So, I
where
mean,
they all
you-
either went to California, where they started, or went to Texas. Or
So
whatever.
Bill, you were part of that. I mean, you were like, so you going out to California and stuff. I call it butt rock. Sorry, the hair metal scene. Like, so that was like where it kind of started as far as like you getting into that whole like drumming. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have alcohol.
No,
poisoning.
I never joined the hair metal scene. I mean,
But you said you were
already
into
talked
it though.
about it.
You were into it though, right?
well, I
Talked about
was
Metallica.
into it because it was the only thing that was there for a minute, and that was like about 1983.
Okay, I went way back in the
yeah,
timeline.
yeah. No,
And
it's
so-
all good.
And so when I moved to California, I was already pretty much ensconced in the whole jazz fusion movement.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me ask.
Gotta get
How
into
about-
that, too.
So you've seen a lot of genres come and go. Like what do you
Yeah.
think? What impressed you in like rock history as you kind of lived through it?
The longevity of blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fact that blues is such, it's an alive and huge community now.
Yeah.
And also the metal community as well. You know, every community has got their own thing, you know, and
Mhm.
and they're all great people.
Right.
Yeah. The metal community has kind of like changed styles a little bit. The blues community, I mean, there's new players out there that are doing something different and stuff, but like metal community, like the kind of like flows and genres, but they're still
Yeah.
there. Like metal blues guys and my mom and my dad are just like they'll go to like just a standard blues show and it'll be like fucking packed, you know. It still holds water to this day, and it's like the initial beginnings of rock and roll. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it's like that whole meme where it says, you know, what's the difference between a jazz musician and a blues musician? A blues musician plays 3 chords in front of 30,000 people, and a jazz musician plays 30,000 chords in front of 3 people.
Yeah, I think that's where jazz and death metal can cross over.
I like
Yeah.
the extra. I like the extra zero. I've always heard 3,000, but 30,000.
Go big, man.
I'm gonna start exaggerating that joke more and more.
He has like 300,000 people.
Iron Maiden.
What's the biggest show you guys ever played? What's the biggest?
1,000 people at Maryland.
The Holy Gully in
Holy Gully.
no,
I think it was 1,000 people in MDF.
Well, okay. So speaking of shows, I just want to say that
Yeah.
Bill, you came to our show on the first Bloodletting tour. I think that was, or maybe that was even before that. Maybe it was 2005. I can't remember. But we played in San Marcos at the Jumping Turtle.
Yeah.
And you can't. No, it must have been because it was Decrepit and Odious. So you saw us both play, and it was pretty cool. And Joel and Anthony, of course, were there with us, and David in the chat. Warbreaker, he was our other
What
guitar
up,
player.
Warbreaker?
And he was in that band with me and Lewis way back, so he's OG. He knows you, Bill, from way back. I don't know if you remember David, but yeah, my friend. And yeah, so it's
Dave. Yeah, I know. Dave Mead.
No, Dave Mead is also our friend from high school. This is David Siskin. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but
Okay, I had to get my Dave straight there.
There's
That's a lot. That's a
Davids,
really unique name, David.
yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say we all need to get our Dave straight.
But
Yeah.
I remember you coming and just like we're all doing this crazy death metal show, and you're just walking around. You're like, yeah, right on, guys. Like, you know, it just took this whole.
I
you
was
were
just
there,
floored by how you played, man. It's like,
Oh, dude, you created this beast.
The shit that you just played. Is just,
Yeah.
holy cow, man.
That was one. Okay, Casey, sorry. Let me put you under the light just for a second. I need to ask Bill
He's
a
got
question.
light above him.
Yeah, I got plenty of lights.
So did you see potential? Like, what kind of potential did you see in Casey when you taught him? I don't know how long you guys were working together. I just want to know, as a teacher, seeing Casey, like, did you already see that he could be what he is today? Because he is regarded as. I know. Did he go away? He hates this stuff. There he is. All right. He's regarded as one of the greatest. Okay,
He's in the discussion. He's always in the discussion.
Not, dude. Come
and
on.
he'll never cop to it. It's fine. But we're his friends, and we want him to know how good he is. So I just want to know, like, when you were teaching him, did you see, oh, this kid's got something different going or whatever, you know?
Well, you know, I always see myself as being more like the trail guide rather than the teacher. You know, I've kind of like, I know the places to step, and I know the places where to say, hey, go check that out, you know, or go, you know, go turn over that rock.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
And so, you know, I just kind of show him the little, you know, features to check out and all that. And so I always knew he was going to be great because, you know, not only is he a great drummer, he also plays guitar, and, you know, instrumentally, you know, he understands music on a great, you know, deep level. So, so he had, you know, he's definitely got that going for him. And now he's running a music school.
Yeah. And he's still creating music with us, and he's always been
the
like,
virus of music.
He literally is like he's like the at the helm of creating Odious Mortem, and I love it because I always trust him with the keys, you know.
Here's the thing is Odious Mortem really was kind of a creation of my stuff that was influenced and spawned from Bill a lot. And early songs like Nux Vomica and certain parts where there's like a polyrhythm where the ride stays in like a 2 against whatever, and the snare patterning applies like a different, but this, so that whole like kind of that on and off, like, 2 against whatever ride pattern, like, dude, like all those things are all just me, like not trying to impress Bill, but trying to like just
Impress
use,
Bill.
like, well, yeah,
Okay.
but not like
Okay.
like, but artistically though, it's a different thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
utilize the tools that you
Yeah, you got a tool, you got a new thing in your
Yeah.
arsenal.
I mean, and it was never, it was about playing fast and like being able to like do stuff that was like up to, but it was never about just that though. It was about the music and creating a song or like doing something weird and like just trying something or kind of combining things that I would hear with like his playing and then add double kicks under it and like or put it in Otis, and then Dan would have some weird timing riff and I'm like, oh, that has some weird, I can change that. And it was all from Bill.
Right.
Looks like
I was going to say,
Bill-
for
Bill-
listeners, go out and listen to Gestation of Worms demo, Odious Mortem, if you want to.
Oh, Nux Vomica. That one part that I've always questioned Casey on, because it's a
Oh, fuck that part, dude.
I'm like, but it all meets up at one point, and I'm like, I don't even know the math. I just know I know, but like Casey, like someone said, no, it's like explain it to me, and I was like,
so real quick before we check out Bill's drum set here that he's sitting down, it's super cool. David brought up a funny story of when I was in high school. Go ahead and click it, Joel. It was funny, Bill. I was coming over for a lesson and I was like probably 17, 18, I don't know, whatever. And like basically probably 18 for the, but basically I had been, puffing with my friends and stuff, and you know how it goes. And I came over and like, and I had some in my pocket or something. And I like put it in my van. And then I like walk in straight to the lesson and like, and you were like, hey man, you've been like smoking some of that green bud, like the
kind bud.
And I was like, no, not today, and you were like, all right, it's cool, but it was like so
I can smell it.
It's like,
reeked, dude.
We're actually vibing. You don't even realize, young one.
I was going to show you the probably one of the first things like polyrhythmically I showed you.
Yeah,
oh, fuck yeah, this is awesome. This is what I want to see.
So it's a thing, and it's 5 against 4 or 4 against 5. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the top part right there.
Hell yeah.
And then so the bottom part would be like playing the kick drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I showed you. Probably
You guys got that?
I actually got it, and
I know I did.
I'll never be able to recreate it myself with my limbs.
Whenever we talk, we can't
get it.
So watch.
Whenever we talk, you can't hear him.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah,
so
dude.
much something like that, dude.
Do you play traditional grip primarily?
Yeah, I've been playing traditional grip all my life, and I'll sometimes I do play match grip, but for the most part, I've been traditional grip.
Mm-hmm.
What are the advantages of doing that? Because I've seen like Virgil Donati. There's like a bunch of drummers that do it, and there's other drummers that don't do it. So what's the advantage or disadvantage of either one?
It stirs the energy differently, I suppose.
Okay.
There's not real advantage or disadvantage, but I tell you, every time I get off a stage, there's always some old guy that comes up and says to me, "You're the first drummer I've seen play correctly in the past 50 years."
Impressing the old guys, huh?
Yeah.
Impressing the old guys.
It's like the one time I was on the road with Paul. We were someplace. We were in Italy or something, and he comes off the gig at the end of the night, and he's like, You know, I saw there were some girls in the audience tonight and they were actually crying. And I was like, yeah, you know why they were crying, Paul? Because it's like as soon as their boyfriend saw you play guitar, it's like, well, there goes the freaking vacation. They're gonna spend all their shit on the guitar and amp, right? Bye vacation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
Oh, man.
would you take a couple drum beat requests?
Sure. What's that? What would you like?
Can you play Rosanna?
Yeah. You want it with or without a backing track?
Yeah, dude, it's sick.
That's awesome, man.
Without, yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's Rosanna right there, slowed down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
What next?
Oh, what's the
keep
Tears for
going.
Fears song? Everybody wants to rule the world.
Oh, I'm
Everyone.
slowed down.
Something like that. Yeah.
I always
Nice.
just played the hi hat on the and. There it is.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's how I learned it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
How about some drum fills in 5? Just do anything in 5. Just whatever you feel like. Whatever 5 you want.
Oh, hang on, I got something for you.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. I have to pee.
Have
but
you
I
heard?
don't
Have
know.
you heard of? Have you heard of Marvin?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like kind of Jewish klezmer jazz kind of stuff.
I love that shit. I mean, Zorn, Bungle, Stratosphere, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Huh. I've never heard of it. Sounds rad.
Hey, let me find my where is it? Okay.
I'm not saying Marvin's going to be that, but once Professor said Jewish klezmer jazz, I was like, oh, that might be that. So I might be wrong.
It's
Am I on the same wavelength, Professor?
I think they do have like a
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, like Secret Chiefs, all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking A.
Okay, dude.
Damn.
Literally,
Let's go,
Bill,
dude.
that was probably the greatest
Wow.
performance we've had on the show, dude. That was
That was
an
so
experience, dude. I had a great time throughout that whole thing, dude. Thank you for that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Dude, you can rip, bro. There's some parts in there where you really
you
got
guys.
me, dude. You pulled me right in, dude.
Yeah, I was having a little hard time hearing in a couple of places, but yeah,
Oh, believe me, it was fucking great.
Sounded
over
great to
here,
us.
yeah, I got tons of stuff that I play along to.
Oh,
Man.
dude, if
So-
you can grace us with one more experience like that,
Bill,
and maybe not right now, but before we
Well-
get off, I would love another experience like that. I just had a great time. dude.
Bill goes live quite a bit, right? Like you
Yeah, I'm on pretty much every day.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
dude.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's-
He's live
your
doing that
your
shit all the
Twitch, you
time.
plugged your
Yeah.
Twitch. I'm like,
he's also
I
live
need
on
to be
YouTube
on
too,
that
stuff,
all
right?
the time if that's what I'm going to experience. Because
Yeah, dude.
Yo.
I've shared it a bunch, like over the years, dude. Like I've shared Bill Ray's live, guys. Like check it out on YouTube. Like before the Twitch, thing. It was like I've been sharing it for days, dude. It's so fucking cool, you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Now
I know. I was holding. I had to pee so bad. I was like holding it. And I was like shaking. I had to pee so bad, and like I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna pee in my
I
chair.
love it how like I'm talking about being inspired by Bill, and Joel's just like talking about how he just had to pee so bad.
No,
Like,
so
we're
what you missed
laughing at
about
the
that is
same
that I thought it
time,
was
like.
I thought it was so amazing. I was like shaking with like anger that I had to pee so bad.
So you're
that it
saying
was-
Bill made you pee your pants almost?
pretty much.
almost,
No,
dude.
no, he almost made me. I almost sat here and just was like, I want to watch this. Fuck it, I'm gonna pee. Like, I'm gonna pee in my chair.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
Oh, I just so you're playing 2 stacks on that drum set? Cymbal stack?
Yeah. So they're China cymbals.
Okay.
This is a 17-inch China with a 15-inch hi-hat top. And then this is a 14-inch China with 13-inch hi-hat top. I can, move around.
That's fun, dude.
It's been something I've been fooling around with lately.
It's cool. It's like
I didn't even know they made mini Chinas like that.
Yeah, they're mounted on X hat stands. So they're on the X hats, hi hats.
Yep.
Okay, so that it's a hi-hat stand. So yeah, I'm the dumb that you got to explain all that stuff to.
Same.
So is it's a hi-hat stand that stays closed?
Yeah, it stays closed at a certain opening.
Well, however you want, however
Yeah,
far
this
you want
is
them
kind
to
of
be
tight right
made.
here. I can loosen it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that gets a
Okay.
little more sustain.
Now,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you have an option to open it up while you're playing or no?
No, I'd have to reach under it and grab it.
Yeah.
But you know, I like this one to be open, but I like this one to be really closed, kind of quick.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yeah.
one has more sustain. But
I love that you can customize, all of it the way that you want. You can open that one up as far as you want, close that one as far as you want.
yeah, there's more sustain on that one right there. And if I tighten it up a little more, it can go
Okay.
I do like that one more closed, even though it still sounded sick open, but
yeah, I like it. I like it closed. myself.
yeah, I was gonna. I understand why you close that one off and open that one up a little bit more on the other side.
Cool. That really just made me appreciate like kind of the jazz fusion or kind of what you were saying you were getting into. That was like such a perfect right in the sweet spot between jazz and rock on that tune, because I could never get completely into jazz, and straight ahead rock's kind of not as open. So that was like a perfect kind of exhibition for. Is that so that Marvin is kind of like is that the kind of your jam these days, like that kind of stuff?
I do so much varied stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Here I could play something from a League of Assholes song.
Oh hell yeah!
Just keep jamming. It sounds great.
Especially before Anthony
Yes,
gets back.
please. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to finish before he's back.
Do it. Fuck yeah, dude.
Let me find it here. I gotta
Man, I wish I had a studio like that with like huge
Yeah, here's the
snare drum stand.
Yeah.
The camera angle switches and you.
Bill Ray Drums on the socials. He's got cool pictures of his setup and studio.
I'm gonna try to get Twitch streaming pretty soon.
Yeah, I was working on my setup today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I added all. Joseph, I wasn't sure. Oh no, I think I found it actually. I was trying to look for your channel.
Sciontic.
Here we go. This is from the League of Assholes.
Okay. Damn it.
Anthony's back. Perfect timing.
awesome.
Dude,
That
Bill,
was rad.
I am enjoying this so much.
I know.
right now.
I'm
Told you
like, I
guys.
want to change the
Told
whole
you guys.
format of the podcast because of this whole.
Yeah.
Just like have people come on and play music for us
Yeah,
to
just send them like a bunch of mics. Be like, you have to send them back FedEx the next day or something.
Oh man, I got so many artists from like all over the place, like San Diego artists. There's a group called Super Unloader that have been around.
Unload on us.
Oh yeah, they've been around since 1994.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 93, yeah, 93, 94. And I got some of their stuff that
I trust you with everything right now, bro. Please keep
here,
feeding it
check
to
this shit
us.
out right here.
Yeah.
The traffic cone.
I love it, dude. Traffic cone in space.
Shit, here we go.
Kids are on the half pipe, motors on the crack pipe, weapon on the back line. Music twice the show and half the time. Heading out into the sea, and they're staring back in front of me. We've got some new folks, so we hide from our folks. Roger gets his magic pen, says who's out and who is in. Says bands like up your rock and roll, but the next night he was there again. Neck and back was again. They might have to a masterpiece. When we hit the street and locked in, I feel low and my friends on my hand. There's a kiss along we go. The string is the bow we roll. Regretful if we give a call. Send me back for 20 more. Who can share a different me? Where I'm in is who I be. But never walk a no end. I'm a road, get my feet for the bit.
Damn, dude. That was some shredding.
Super
Yeah.
unloader.
So sick.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So sick.
Way cool, man.
I'm in
Insane.
awe.
Yeah, no, I'm having
No,
so much
so sick.
fun, dude.
I was gonna say something too. Like I remember, like I've said this before, like once or twice, but so Bill, like I remember back in the day, like I was like, asking you about technique and stuff, and this is like, the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was like, how do I play fast and this, and you always said like, oh, you should do doubles with your feet. You should do the double strokes on the feet. Like, and you were like telling me this, and I like
Oh, yeah.
tried so many times, and I just can't get my left foot to do doubles. I don't know what it is. It's not down. And so I just never really got that technique, and I knew about
Fast
it.
forward.
And I tried it, yeah. But fast forward, dude, like all the like so many of the new school like metal drummers now all do the doubles with their feet super fast. It's super funny. It's like ironic. Like I remember you telling me about that like years
I
ago.
thought you always did doubles with your feet.
No, I did singles.
Holy
He's not actually doing it.
Yeah,
Dude. He's
no,
doing
it's
doubles.
singles.
Well, you went the hard way.
I did, yeah.
Damn, like
But it
Alex
sounds going.
Cohen was just out here
Okay.
clinic. Yeah, Alex Cohen was just out here on a clinic. I took a lesson from him on feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he has a book out.
Yep, him and
what-
Ramon Montagnier or something.
Yeah, you guys should check out Alex and his co-author Raymond. Raymond does, I don't know how to pronounce his full name, but he has the craziest hand technique I've ever seen. It's incredible. And then Alex is also playing with Embodied Torment. Shout out. They're going to be at that Chicago Dom Fest. Domination. I'd probably say domination all the way. But yeah, there it is. Nice.
Oh.
Mid pod plug.
Have you heard of this Riccardo Merlini guy?
I don't think I have. No.
Dude, he does these drum. He does like this. He's like this Italian guy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, is that that
Super
guy?
fast, like
The one-handed
300
guy is
beats a minute,
one.
like
There's
like-
like one. Or no, that's a different
That's-
guy. Yeah.
dude, Riccardo Merlini, dude. Riccardo.
There's one guy that does like these like popular songs with one hand while he's like smoking a joint, and like
Oh, the
That guy-
one-handed
That's,
guy.
that's the other. What's that dude's name?
Like Siberia or something. That
I
guy
don't know.
rules.
The one
Right? Isn't that
They'll
insane?
do
I
like
don't-
a Slipknot song with one hand or some shit like that.
yeah.
He's
Like,
incredible. Yeah,
But
he actually
like
just
figure out doubles and stuff with like the rolls and like his
Yeah.
kicks and the rolls and stuff. Yeah.
he did a lot of gravity single rolls, hands
Yeah,
roll
yeah.
stuff. He just got a Drumeo lesson out, so you can like actually learn his techniques now. He like taught him.
Okay.
So he's starting to step up into like the drum education leagues too, so which is rad because
What
he's like one of the most
learning how to-
entertaining drummers I've ever watched. He's so
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
cool.
I know, I
He
didn't
makes
know
moves so
how to
sick.
drink your coffee while
Yeah,
blast
dude.
beating.
That's
Yeah,
the
I didn't
sickest
know
shit
if that
ever.
was. I didn't know if it was like real or I wanted to like actually bounce that guy off you guys because I didn't understand if it was like a fake thing or what's.
I
going
think I think he has
Sounds like we need to get him on Cali Death podcast. Guys.
there are certain rolls he does where it'll be like
time.
really fast between the hands and the kicks, and it
Yeah.
sounds like he's got like a super high compression on his drums to make them sound like a straight up super fast roll between everything. It's just other than that, everything sounds pretty natural, and I'm pretty sure he's just using compression that he's actually getting everything, and he's just
There you go.
limiting.
There you go.
everything.
Troy got
Yeah.
it. El Stepanero.
Yeah.
I don't know, Anthony, you pronounce it.
No,
You're
Uh,
Italian.
more
Come
Irish.
on.
I'm more Irish than Sicilian, dude. What are
Oh,
you
you
talking-
changed to Irish now when it comes to like Italian
Yeah.
words. Okay, I see.
talking-
So
My
Bill,
last name maybe that, but whatever.
what's the Paul Gilbert? What's the gig like? You just did a record with the Dio record.
Yeah,
Dio
we
album?
did
Yeah.
the Dio album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like last year we did the Great Guitar Escape and we did a whole bunch of shows. Like we did the Dallas Guitar Show and then we did one in Canada and we also did another one the whiskey. Yeah, the Great Guitar Escape. We did the whiskey and the Great Guitar Escape. That was about the same time. And then right after that Paul was like, I'm going to record this Dio tribute album. Are you in? And I was like, oh, hell yeah, man. It's just like right up my alley. So,
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I sent him over like a demo track of me playing to Caught in the Middle by Dio. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. But I got a set that I want to do. And so he started sending over songs and he would send them over and I would just knock them out. He'd
That's
send
awesome.
him over and I'd send him back, the completed track like 4 hours later.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Damn.
So
That's
what,
just
what is
a
it?
labor of love. That record, you just wanted to do it, kind of.
Oh yeah, I wanted to do it, and I needed the money.
Like in what order?
I meant for Paul.
Just kidding.
Well, no, I mean, ultimately, I wanted to do it. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
Paul
proud to
Gilbert.
be
Yeah,
be playing on his album totally. But
totally.
I think
You know-
Joseph's actually asking about Paul. Did he mention that Dio's just like one of his favorite things, and he just decided to do it, or?
we had always talked about Ronnie James Dio on the road, because after the shows, there's always that hang, and you're on the bus and you're getting out of town or whatever, and that's the big wind down as you're slowly kind of like get ready for bunking down and going to sleep. And so we always talked about Ronnie James Dio and how cool it would be to do a tribute album, and that's just the parts that I remember. And then all of a sudden he comes at me with like, hey man, we're going to do this tribute album.
It's a reality.
It's a reality. Totally is.
Rad.
That's a great idea too that he did it. So it's like instead of having a singer, like I'm gonna play guitar as Ronnie James Dio. Like the guitar is gonna sing for it's like I mean a lot of people will do it like on YouTube videos, like, oh, I'm gonna solo the vocal parts, but like did a full album like that. That was very cool. Like, and yeah, that whole album just nostalgic and a very cool twist on Dio.
Well, the thing he also said to me, we were doing Running with the Devil by Van Halen when we were on tour, and he always said on stage, well, it's one thing to play guitar like Eddie Van Halen, but then it's another thing to play guitar like David Lee Roth sings.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's been his thing for a while, is getting, that human voice thing happening within his playing, and just really cool that, instrumental guitar rock seems to be like my niche and what I end up falling into mostly playing.
That is really cool. I really like that. I like the fact that like recently in the last 3 or 4 years, me listening to music and stuff and paying attention to more vocals, because I've been more instrumental, like listening to instrumental music, like that's been more my thing. Paying attention to the notes that they're singing, like paying attention to like what they're doing, like they're like, yeah, it's a catchy thing that you're singing along with, but at the same time, like what note choices or where are they on the guitar? You know what I mean?
And why?
Like,
and like people being able to tap into what might naturally hit with a large audience, because you're like, oh shit, they did something that cracked me. I want to know how they cracked me.
And then you look at the fretboard and be like, okay, this vocal wise though, what are they doing? Like picking out the notes vocally on a fretboard and being like, okay, they're doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very I totally know where Paul was going with that. That's like definitely, I mean, I think you go for it.
I just taught of my first vocal lesson ever this week, actually, because it was like a keyboard lesson, but she also wanted to try singing. She's 6 years old, and I was like,
impalement, right?
yeah, I was like, what songs do you know how to sing? And it was like this Ava Max song that's popular, and she could like sing it perfectly, and it was like A pentatonic. And like I just sat with the keyboard and like showed her, I'm like, this is the A pentatonic scale, 5 notes, and like we like mapped out all the melodies on the keys. So we just did that exactly.
And
that's cool.
And did that open up something for your student?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, and then we did like Little Mermaid, the same thing. And like, I'm just like, all right, we have a lesson plan for the rest of this time I'm teaching you. You just bring me songs and we'll learn how to play the melody, and then you'll learn how to sing them and see it. So you'll learn keyboard that way. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
I think that really is where the best case scenario is having somebody learn something that they've already connected with.
This is also your great grand student or whatever, Bill. This it's
Bill.
Well, it's just passing on the knowledge, to the next generation. That's the thing, it's like passing it down and making sure that it gets put in correctly, I guess would be the best way, to describe it. It's like explain it in such a way that the person gets it, so where they understand it, fully and completely.
Absolutely.
God,
and even if they don't at that moment, they will eventually, come around to, wanting to discover, why is that thing that way,
Mhm.
And so that embarks upon, the discovery, and then that's where, the finding one's, true musical path comes in, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still an exciting time to be into music right now, for sure.
Oh, it's amazing right now. I mean, I think like reading Frank Zappa's autobiography,
I love that book.
I read it 3 times, yeah,
Mhm.
and, thinking about, like, he would just be flipping his lid right now going like, "Oh my god, the things that are available to us now."
Right.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
back when he passed away in 1993, they were just,
The internet wasn't even a thing yet.
it wasn't even a thing, no.
Yeah.
Oh, he would've had such a good time with the internet.
Oh, man.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
think
wonder
it'd go either way with him with the internet. I feel like he'd either be super psyched on it or the opposite.
Well,
I don't
no.
know where
Either
he would fall.
way, he's gonna
Yeah.
satire the shit out of
Oh,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see that. Yeah, yeah. That's the main
Well,
thing.
But it kinda concerns me too because, like, you look at guys like Johnny Rotten who are, like, raging hardcore, like, right wingers, and not to bring politics or anything like that into it at all, because that's not what music's about, and that's what, but I'm just saying, it's like generationally, that's a different generation from different values and stuff, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I grew up in all that, so
Right.
I'm glad where I am right now, and that's just being a musician and being like, hey, everybody's cool with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, your life looks pretty chill. I want to aspire to being
I mean,
able
you're
to just
floating in
play
space at
Twitch,
this
play
moment.
drums on Twitch. That sounds like the chillest gig, man.
Well, I teach drum lessons,
Yeah.
at the drum school, and then and my wife is also she's a musician as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd she do? What'd she do?
Well, she's classically trained. She's a singer and piano player, and but she's in the she works in a hospital too. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned a kid that you passed the kit down to. Is that just one kid or multiple children?
Oh, that was just my kid. That was my kid from my first marriage.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just asking if you had more than one child.
Oh
That's
no,
the
just
only one.
well, with the advent of ancestry.com, nobody's come out of the woodwork so far.
No, I know.
Right.
It's crazy. I did my ancestry.com thing about 2
That's
years
scary
ago.
shit now,
And then I
right?
randomly checked it again like 2 days ago, and my whole lineage is different. Like,
Yeah.
it was like I was 32% Scottish, and then like all this other shit, and I'm like Scottish. I'm now like 3% Scottish.
What?
And, yeah, I swear to
Wow.
God. And I was like,
So once
now
you're
I'm like,
once you're in the system, you get things just
well, more people
add to it
put
and
more people
change
put
the
their
situation.
they put their DNA into it. So it's like
Whoa.
and then like all of a sudden it like flipped because I wasn't no one ever told me about Scotland. I had no idea about this. And then turns out it was I'm like, on my dad's side, like more, English and German and all that stuff. And that all came out later. And then
Yeah.
and then the Native American stuff's kind of stuck pretty hard. But then like certain random things that were just come up like,
I mean,
oh, here, have more of this, more of this, more of this. And I was like,
I guess
Yeah.
that's cool as long as you're not finding like other siblings and shit.
I mean, you can.
I always
You
thought
you totally can, dude.
I always thought that I had Native American in my lineage, but I didn't. But if I had, it would turn out that I would end up being part of the tribe that owed everybody money, and they'd be like, "Hey, we found you, man. Can we have your ATM?"
Yeah. It'd be the worst tribe. You're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd be getting something, but no,
No, you actually got to pay.
you got to pay.
I know. I showed my lineage to a couple people, and they're like, "Dude, you can get your Native American like a card, like some sort of a card or something." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm the whitest person ever, and I just come to America. I'm like, I need a Native American card now. Like to like take money. Like
My
no,
friend,
I would
I
rather
beg
give
to
money to
differ.
them.
I am the whitest person ever, according to ancestry.com. It's like
Yeah.
don't ever publish those roles right there because I'll be getting every freaking supremacist group saying, "Hey brother, oh no."
It's like you're related to snow, dude. We can't see you.
Exactly. It's related to snow. 60% English, Northern English.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
60% Northern English, and the rest of it's Scottish.
Yeah.
It's funny
That's-
when I went to England, man. I have such a attraction to that part of the world too, for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it's like my it's like my lineage home base or something.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a natural attraction to it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Howard.
Yeah, I'm
So you're on the
planning.
wrong. You're on the wrong
And then
side
when
of the
you get out,
Revolutionary War.
when you went out there, was it what you expected?
Oh yeah, I've been to Northern England several times now.
So that's what I'm saying. So you were drawn to it, and then when you got there, you were like, oh yeah, I realized why I was drawn to this.
Yeah, I think so, because it's, the whole the ancestry thing, the lineage. I just felt kind of like, wow, I like Newcastle, England for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Totally.
If you really look at it, I wonder if that, if you didn't know all of your lineage and then you watched footage of places that your heritage is actually from, if it would naturally give you like a draw to it, like, oh,
genetically,
I should that looks like a place I should be.
Man, I don't know, but you know what's funny? One of the things that I did during the pandemic, are you guys familiar with Reddit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was streaming on Reddit a lot. They had the RPAN.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I would do is I would bring other people's stream into my stream, and then I would play along to them streaming.
Oh, that's sick.
And then I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
broadcast it. So they had no clue that I was playing along to them. But I swear to God, what was funny is that we would start and stop songs together. So it was like reaching through space and time.
Right.
We were connecting musically, and we were connecting somehow in this weird cosmic sense. And they were playing live, and I was playing live. And there was like a however many second delay that was there. But the thing is that for some, and there was many instances this happened. It was like, I know that person felt what I was doing, and I totally felt what they were doing. And I felt them feeling that.
I believe that, dude.
Oh,
I
it was
totally believe
crazy,
that.
man. So
I believe in like catching a wavelength. You guys all caught that wave at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a frequency, it's about frequencies, and finding
and they don't even need to know that you're catching on to that frequency, but you saw the frequency and just jumped on that wave too.
Yep.
And naturally you guys all really connected. And when you're in that flow state, we talk about it many times on the show, when you're in a jam room and everybody is just in the pocket and things almost feel like something else is at the controls of this present moment,
Yeah.
We're all on the same, we caught this thing that we all are just like, and we all, the times where we look at each other in the jam studio too, where it's just a facial expression that will tell the other person, oh, I know we're on the wave together right now. You don't need to even speak words. It's just we hit it, guys. How long is it gonna last? We don't know, but just fucking let's stay in it. And you could do that without the people even knowing, I believe. And with the internet being able to, I know it sounds hippy dippy, but like there could have been some wavelength, Bill, that you caught on right there. Like nobody else can tell me different. Come on, somebody prove different.
Exactly. It's all about, I think it's just tuning into the frequency of what it is that you're trying to do. And I think as long as there's a point on that spear and you keep that point sharp, that's what keeps us moving as musicians.
Totally.
I was gonna say it sounded like kind of like remote viewing. Like the internet has
Yeah.
made that a reality that you can literally like travel to somebody's apartment where they're playing and like play along with them. Like,
Whoa.
That's really cool that you mentioned that. I have
Astral
a real good friend
projection.
of mine who was into remote viewing, and he studied with Ed Dames, the guy who invented all that stuff.
Mm.
The MK Ultra.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So my buddy John Catcher. John was Jewel's guitar teacher. You know, Jewel, Jewel Kilcher, the singer-songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John was her teacher, and he's had a really interesting life. He's done a lot of cool stuff, but he's selling art now down in Ocean Beach,
Okay.
California.
I feel like the remote viewing thing, Stranger Things, made that like mainstream pop culture. Now everybody knows about it in a way that used to be a little more hip.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a like 11. You imagine like 11 on her drum kit, just like remote viewing into somewhere and then jamming, playing along. That's what the internet lets us do. So
yeah, dude, it really does, dude. It's obviously bringing us a lot closer.
yeah, like I can go subscribe to Bill on Twitch and be watching it any day now. Like, how great is that?
Literally, if you've been with us tonight and you've witnessed everything I've witnessed, you should definitely be subscribed to that channel right now.
Yeah.
Yep. These are the guys I work with, Bill.
If you can control it, then that'd be awesome.
If you're and by the way, if you're just listening to this, go back to the visual aspect of this, because we got to watch Bill, and you're watching.
That was
you could
awesome,
be
man.
seeing all the inside jokes that you just missed.
Hey, I gotta run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right
Do it.
back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. That was such a quick turn over to the fucking be right back thing. It's like, I gotta
No, dude,
That's cool.
I am having a blast tonight, guys.
I know that was him jamming like made me want to do more people jamming, like getting more podcasters that have like a setup to like just talk about music and then they jam it, and that's like.
But it's just it makes so much sense, because
here's a live brainstorm. Sorry to interrupt, but there are people jamming like Scott on Twitch, like are the same nights as us. We should just have them drop in while they're streaming and just play a song on our channel, because they're like already there.
We should have a musical moment.
Okay, dude, Professor, you just made me really think that's a great idea. If we like set it up, okay. If you're gonna stream on the same night as us, you could pop over and do a song for us or whatever. Dude, I love that. I love that.
There's some guys we can hit up for that for sure.
That'd be awesome, man. That's it's funny actually. Ian, pretty funny in the chat right now. He's like, "What the fuck did I miss?" And someone's all sick drums.
Oh, it's so true. Ian, that's
so good.
Shout out Ian. Yeah, you're gonna love going back on this
Bill
one.
on the Sick Drummer magazine featured.
I know.
Yeah, he said he was at Morbid Angel tonight, which is that's a sick drummer that plays with them.
He's on the new Paul Gilbert album with the Dio stuff. So.
And the hardcore Cali Death podcast listeners will be hearing this soon, but guess what, guys? Like, there's gonna be a percentage of people that don't even listen to this, and they're gonna miss the fuck out on all the rad shit that we just saw. You know?
Yeah.
When it goes up on YouTube, and they're gonna be like, "It's not death metal." Fucking no, dude! I'm gonna go listen to the Joe Rogan podcast or whatever. You know, it literally is gonna be like that,
dude. Jesus
that sounds like it's actually. I was just doing the exact Pat Kenny right there.
I'm not gonna tell him we talked about this. We have to find it. It's an Easter egg.
He'll never listen to this, so it doesn't matter.
I was like, that's not a real person. And then I'm like, oh, I guess it is. Like
it is.
Yeah.
Are you going, Anthony? Are you going to Dan's show at UC Berkeley or Berkeley Theater? It's Dying Fetus, Suicide Silence.
What's the date?
It's like a Saturday. It's like a sandwich shish kebab. Sandwich shish kebab. Me and Beatty and Ricky saw them. They're interesting. That was interesting.
I'd love to see Fetus again, dude. I'd love
Born of Osiris.
See Dan in person. Born of Osiris is on that bill too.
Yeah. It's an interesting bill. It's like sandwich shish kebab. And then it's Born of Osiris, and then it's like.
Can we just say the real name so they get a plug?
Okay, how about can someone in the chat post the real name and have Anthony pronounce it?
No,
Love that. I
I'm
would love
not going to be a good proponent for that, dude.
Here it is. It's in the.
There we
Just-
go. So
yeah.
this is okay. Anthony, go for it.
Sanguisugabog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
much.
pretty close. That's pretty close.
So the
Oh,
first
what's
word.
up, bitch? What's up?
I mean, it's pretty
It's-
close. Didn't say it was right. It was pretty close.
It's pretty close. I don't even know. It's sanguisuga is one word. I think that's Latin, and then bog, and I forget what
I
sanguisuga
think
means.
that's what I said.
didn't.
Sanguisugabog.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't say it. The sugar part you didn't say. But anyways,
Hey,
here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Well, now I know because I mixed
Sanguis
Meshuggah in
sugar
there now.
bog.
that's
Sang-
pretty close. Yeah.
No, he's all sanguis sugar bog. You didn't say the
Oh,
sugar part.
I fucking okay, fine. Now I know it's a Meshuggah part, so it's a Sanguisugabog.
Hey, David Terra just texted their new Last Lucy mixes to listen to. So
Yeah, dude.
live update on the pod right now. That
That's what's up, dude.
Dang.
Joel, you got to hear this stuff we just are
Oh, I
listening
bet.
back to.
Bet's the Chronicles of Ridiculous.
How proud are we? How proud are the Cali Death podcast guys? When we started this, would you have ever known that you'd be recording
Thought-
with one of the
I started the
top-notch
podcast
dudes,
before
man?
I joined Last Lucy, so
I know that's what's crazy.
he
So
would've known.
when we started all this, it's like we would have never known, and then this is happening. It's so cool, dude. You know?
Definitely. Bill, man, how was that? How was that piss?
Oh, it was warm and sterile.
As they always. So I actually, I guess it's unique to me maybe, but every time I have to go pee on the podcast, I always have I always end with my pee with a really good question that I have. Like I always have, it's like when you sit down that's why I don't put Musician's Friend or Sweetwater magazines in the bathroom anymore because I'll just buy stuff. I'll be like, oh, I need that. Do you ever come up with any ideas like in the old the R room?
Well, aside from trying to get the most basundo sort of, rumble out of my piss stream,
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's important for
We're
you.
always looking for that.
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah, you want it to be. Yeah, you want it to be that deep.
Yeah, you want to hit the
groan.
middle of the hole, so it sounds like
Yeah.
you have the
This
biggest wiener in the
Isn't
room.
that so funny, dude? That we
your
all look for
urethra
that.
health is really important.
Yeah.
It is that's very important.
Because
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you go to a public restroom and you hear another guy have a deep piss,
Yo, I
and
gotta
you're like,
chew harder in the middle.
no, but you're like, I gotta try and one up that dude some point in my life, like.
Assert your dominance.
Yeah. This guy just took out another leg and started pissing. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ! It is.
Oh, man.
There's a whole like unspoken word about peeing because even at shows, like what if you want to bring it back to the podcast, metal shows, like you're peeing, you have to go pee a bunch of times. So it's like there's
Yeah.
a weird like unspoken rule of like
So-
what's going on. It's like you have to,
There is a percentage of me every time I pee when I'm trying to fight that other dude.
And most of the time, you're pissing in a trough anyway.
Oh yeah. You can't really. You can just go distance in a trough. You can't do like hard of. You can't do like low, deep. like,
No,
water.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
distance.
Dude, David, I'm gonna fucking fight you in pee streams the next time we see each other, dude. The next time we go to a bar, Warbreaker, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break your war off hard, dude.
Oh my
man.
god.
All right. I want to make sure we get to a little bit of future stuff. Are you heading out on tour with Paul anytime soon?
Paul is
Bill?
going out with Mr. Big. They're doing a reunion tour this
Okay.
year and possibly in the next. And they're using Nick DiVirgilio on drums because he's a badass singer.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as the Dio album, touring goes, I'm sure that's going to have to wait until after all the Mr. Big stuff's happened. But I've learned to just be patient and take what comes down the pipe, when it comes. And in the meantime, I've still got, my own projects that I'm working on. I'm doing, studio work here out of the house and, playing with a few local artists. I got a band with my wife and, we do little things around here in the Seattle area. And, we play like little 65, 75, 80 cedars, and we can sell them out, and that makes sure everybody gets paid, and it's a fun gig, and it's playing cover tunes, but most of the stuff that I do originally, it's I've been doing it with Marcelo Radulovich down there in Cardiff, California, and that's with Keneally on guitar, Mike Keneally.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it related to the drummer, Keneally, that played with Satriani?
yeah, Mike Keneally, that guitar player.
Oh, he played guitar with them. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, Mike's a musical genius. He was with Frank Zappa too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've been
Yeah,
working. I've been working with the Zappa early Renaissance Orchestra, Zero.
Was Mike Keneally with the one with the big hats? He wore the big hats.
Yeah, he wore the hats.
Oh, yeah, he's a shredding guitar player. Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah, dude. These are the things that I knew were gonna come out on this show.
That's
But
awesome.
Bill, I want to ask you, in the things that you were doing with your wife, was she playing piano and singing at the same time?
No, just she was singing.
So singing. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I had a question too.
Yeah, go
ahead.
for it, Joseph.
In any of the in the stuff you've done with Paul Gilbert, have you played stuff from like the older records he did, like his solo albums? Is that like part of the live set?
Yeah, we did Scarified, and
Nice.
we would actually go from My Guitar Gently Weeps into Scarified.
Okay,
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we were also doing Technical Difficulties.
Oh yeah. That's like
we
guitar
were
players.
pulling those off.
what about anything from the Get Off My Yard album? That was like the one I had from Paul Gilbert that I listened to a lot. And we used to cover. My band used to cover what's the dragon song on there? The Curse of Castle Dragon. We used to play that in like high school. So
I don't know what
I was just shooting
Rain,
just in
Rain
case.
Thunder and Lightning. Does that sound familiar? Rain, Thunder and Lightning.
I'm looking at this record, so I don't know. It's probably something I've heard before.
Everybody
But-
use your goddamn turn signal.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, no, we didn't
Wait,
do any of
get
that.
off my lawn. Use your turn signal. It sounds like a bunch of old people shit, guys.
No, it's reds. I love it. I love it. It's kind of like bitchy, but it's
Never
shredding.
trust a fart. Don't waste a hard on.
What's the hard on, dude?
I always thought Paul Gilbert was like really like the least cringe shred guitarist. Like all this stuff was like kind of
Yeah.
fun, and it never took itself too seriously, and it had a lot of the soul in it, and it was he made it cool even after the 80s when it was like
What my favorite is I was showing my girlfriend about it last night. And I was explaining Paul Gilbert to her and the cats and all the cool pictures he has and I was like, you got to see this one video where he's like playing with Marty Friedman on the Japanese television show, and there's like the Kiss covers. Have you guys seen that?
I
don't think
sounds
so.
familiar.
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's like classic, dude. And they do like a guitar off. And it's like all in. There's like a Gene Simmons lookalike dude who comes out and stuff. Dude. It's
That's
insane,
sick.
dude. Yeah, and then
That's
we
awesome.
watched the old Technical Difficulties video at the
Oh,
end when he
yeah.
does the solo with the tassels all hanging down on the
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah. I remember wasn't
Yeah.
it tassels on his guitar neck, right?
Yeah, the whole guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
headstock, the neck, the guitar, everything. The
Like you
body.
don't want to
Man.
make any sudden
Yeah.
moves and catch a tassel like
Yeah.
on the fretboard. Be like, oh shit. You have to like be like smooth. Like
Bill, would it be too much to ask if you could play like Technical Difficulties or Scarified right now? Is that something you have set up? That's like a big ask, I know.
Well, let's see. I would need to put my shoes on here. Hang on.
Let's put those. If
Sure,
you,
dude.
if it's not too
this
hard.
will kind of be this will be kind of our
This is dedicated to Ian in the audience.
Well,
right now.
yeah, we can
oh,
we
yeah.
can take it out with one more performance from the great Bill Ray, because he is the great Bill Ray. I've totally been convinced this guy is the shit, guys. So,
Yeah.
literally, I've had so much fun watching you play tonight, Bill, and I
yeah.
cannot wait to watch a little bit more.
Isn't that funny that that's a compliment? It's
Well-
like you're the shit.
Well, you know what's a cool little fun
Right?
Oh, I know. Dude, I remember just like being like, when I was like 16, 17, and like just going to Bill's house like in the very beginning when I started like just lessons with him. and he would just play for me and do these things in front of me, and I'd just be like, it was like the most insane thing. I had no idea what he was doing. It was like so inspiring. Like
I've had this thing lately that like.
Sorry, I had to.
No, it's okay. I was just
Computer
gonna
working.
say I like to get hypnotized by music, and you have a hypnotic playing style.
No, my favorite part of the whole thing is I like sat like this and I was like,
yeah, I just like I got stuck in this thing. Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Rufus.
Yeah,
Rufus. What up, Roof?
All right,
Rufus, the blind dog, but he's gonna watch Bill. Well, not really.
He's gonna watch.
He's
Bill.
gonna
He's
listen.
like,
Not literally,
what
but
the
he's gonna.
fuck is happening? Why am I being
air quotes watch Bill play?
Give the dog some headphones. God,
we love you, Rufus.
All right,
double bass.
Nice.
He knows that.
Cali Death.
Of course he does.
Cali Death 100 coming from the underground. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yes. All right, okay, we have to all be quiet. We have to all be quiet. awesome, man. Jesus
Sorry about
Christ.
that ending.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
I should have
Not
probably
that
practiced that song before I came on today.
Dude, it was
Dude,
incredible.
no, that was amazing, dude.
It was
so
incredible.
Thank you so much. That was so enjoyable, and I know everyone watching enjoyed it too. So yeah,
Most definitely.
I
That
know
was like-
that solo
Bill,
part was
you murdered
very.
it,
It
dude.
was what Sick Drummer's saying right here. The 6 foot. It's like it was like a comfortably numb solo section. It was
Yeah, it's got that.
It does have that vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Awesome.
I love Paul's feel like on that stuff. Like dude, the last in line track you guys did, Bill, I was like rocking it in the apartment. I was like, I listened to the whole thing, like, and it was fucking incredible. But that last in line track, dude, like Paul's solo on that is like really cool. Like on that Dio cover.
Oh
song.
yeah,
That
dude.
last track, I think,
Yeah.
it's such a fun listen, that whole album.
I love that whole album. I've had a chance to really give it a good listen.
nice.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Great, dude.
Aside from that, dude, Bill, I've just had such a pleasure watching you play, dude. I'm
Yeah.
having like, okay. Here's the thing, Bill. I'm gonna open you up to me for a second. I didn't really have much to, cram for this episode, for you. We're 125 episodes in. And most of the time I have a back catalog to listen to. And yes, I knew who you had worked with and all this stuff, but never really had too much other than one video that Casey had sent me, which was another show that you had been on. I forget the name of the show. It was was it a drummer? It was a drummer mainly.
Yeah, it was another podcast. I forgot the name at the moment, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool. It was cool.
and I did tune into that and got to know you, just to get to know how you would be in interview form and whatnot. And but I trusted Casey from the beginning. I'm gonna tell you, Bill, you've been on the list for a long time.
Casey's brought your name up since we were in Odious,
and it hasn't been because it hasn't
your
been.
name's always brought up. Like I
mean,
remember him talking about Bill Ray all the time.
Yeah, and we had that one time we were gonna get the episode together, and things fell through the cracks, whatever. But I just want to let you know that I'm genuinely impressed with everything that I've experienced tonight. You're a great dude, and I've had a lot of fun, and I just wanted to sum it up with that. Like, for getting ready for these episodes, normally I have a back catalog, and I just went into this one completely blind, just trusting Casey because I knew you were his teacher. So I knew, no doubt, like obviously he had skills, but watching you play tonight has just been a real treat. I've said that many times.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope it sounds good.
It sounds great. Once we mute everybody and I shut my mouth, it sounds great. I probably.
One thing also, Bill, because we always talk about one thing we always talk about is like, oh, what do you have to plug in the beginning? And usually we always forget that these people like yourself and other people, like, they teach lessons. So if someone were to want to take a lesson and they're in San Diego from you, like, how do they get a hold of you? They don't.
Seattle.
Well, you can hit me at Bill Ray.
San Diego.
Well, worldwide. I mean, you could
do. You have the setup for it
for
wherever.
You could do, exactly.
Yeah, hit me at billraydrums.com, and then I have lessons packages on my store. You can buy one.
Boom.
And, so you could take a lesson from me there. And I also teach at the Seattle Drum School, but I'd prefer you come take a lesson from me, on the camera rig. I have different, view of the camera, of the drum set here. I can shift around and, show you different things from different perspectives and stuff.
Definitely. That's right. That's
cool.
been part of the positive that's come out of the pandemic is like people have come out with ways to teach people remotely, and that's
It's
awesome. that you have
yeah,
it set up.
optimized virtual
yeah.
shit has been optimized because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that actually is like a quicker version of learning, even though being in person may be the best if overall, if you really want to think about it. But just being able to like switch to the here's what it looks like above, here's what you're doing below, this is what it looks like, just like all the different views that you would want to know if you're at home
Yeah.
hitting things and beating on things,
Well, it makes it easier to demonstrate for sure.
right, especially when you're in space. I love the space theme that we've had.
Yeah,
I really feel like I'm like floating through space with you tonight.
yeah, that's Uranus right there.
Uranus. All right, come on, it's Uranus. No.
I don't think
Well,
anybody
they
wants to see
changed it.
mine, dude. Mine probably got some.
Well, it's not Uranus, it's piss now. It's a Uranus.
80% of my body is hair, so I don't know what's going on
Deep,
in there,
deep,
dude.
the deep Basundo piss sound.
That's
You
On
amazing.
that
can't
note.
hear it,
No, yeah, fuck yeah. Well, dude, Jesus Christ, man, this has
Man,
been
Bill, this
so
has
much
been
fun.
a fucking a very
So-
very fun show, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks.
All right,
for having me here.
let's say goodnight to everybody. Let's do the plug super
We're going to
quick.
Mega Mike. Love you guys.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Bill Ray Drums.
Yeah.
Spell that out and get there and subscribe. How often are you doing it, Bill? A week?
Pretty much every day, I try
Oh,
to.
shit.
It's either there on Twitch or on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or in
Wow,
public
dude.
bathroom stalls everywhere.
And then
Deep bass sound.
Well,
All right,
get over there, dude. And CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you're gonna get a t-shirt from us. You got two options. That is where you put money in the pocket of this podcast, right there. So if you want to do that, you go to CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com and BattleForgeCoffee.com. Nobody put that up.
I think we're good on. I think we're good. We plugged them for like 10 minutes.
We got like
already,
30
so-
minutes of fucking ads in the beginning.
I know
so
we
we'll
did.
just
All
probably-
right, now
we'll probably just wrap
We're
this
good.
up.
Chicago Domination Festival 8. Again, we're gonna have on our social media. You're gonna be able to get the link to a form that you're gonna have to fill out. And by when are we gonna announce the winner? That's the question.
Probably like 26.
No. 26. What is even? I'm not
I know.
talking
I
about-
have no idea. That's why I threw a number at you just to kind of calm you down.
Calm me down. I'm trying to.
Well, no, calm me down. I don't have a number for you. I don't have anything.
All right.
I don't have any information.
Yeah. Very soon we will announce 2 weeks. Let's say 2 weeks. Should we announce it? No, 3 weeks.
This is
That's
something we
getting
talk
really
about
close
off.
to the
We can talk
festival.
about this off the podcast.
Yeah, let's
We're good.
off the
We can do it off
podcast.
the
Well, we're
podcast.
not ready, guys. All right.
I know. We
we-
don't have to like break it down right
We're
now.
gonna have
Like,
a form that you will be able
Can I
to
show that
fill out
outro
very
video?
soon.
I've never done
Yeah.
it.
Hey, you do it.
All right, here we go.
Fucking awesome, guys.
Hey, Joel, did you send people away? We're still live. We
I know. I
haven't
did.
done
I
the
didn't send
podcast.
people away.